Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie. Sports 56 Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends that live.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays. The sun is shining. The weekend is just about upon us, but not everything is right in this world. The Grizzlies lost last night to open up the post-All-Star game portion of their schedule, losing at Sacramento. That's one of the many topics we will discuss on the program today. It's officially the Friday, February 21st, 2020 edition. I'm Greg Gaston with Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, located at 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, all the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx helps small businesses grow every single day. Again, a big shout out to FedEx. We cannot thank them enough for being a part of our program every single day. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by one of the great jewelry stores in the Mid-South, and that's James Gaddis Jewelers. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 23 years. Your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters located at 4900 Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, right between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. You can call them at 901-767-9648. Check them out on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. On the program today, as mentioned, we'll talk about the Grizzlies. They fall last night to the Kings and get right back on the horse as they'll next take on the Lakers. It is a brutal road trip that will also see them play the Clippers and the Rockets before they return home a week from tonight to take on the team they lost to last night, the Sacramento Kings. We'll talk college hoops. The Tigers return to action tomorrow. It will probably be a sellout at FedEx Forum. It is a huge game, an absolute must-win situation as they will take on the Houston Cougars. We will talk to Matt Dillon as we do every Friday during the Tigers basketball season. It'll be the Tigers basketball report at 12. Before that, though, at 11 o'clock, Matt Moore, who covers the NBA for the Action Network. We will have him on the program to talk not only Grizzlies, but, of course, everything that's going on in the National Basketball Association. And we have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation, give you a chance to win a great prize package to kick off your weekend in the right way. How are you?
I am good. It's Friday. Can't be bad on a Friday.
Not at all. Not at all. We could find some bad things, which we'll talk about in a second. The Grizzlies lost, but sun is shining. I know it's a little cooler outside.
Second time this month, I believe the sun is actually shining.
It's the second time, absolutely. But I know temperature is temperature. If it's gray and 40.
That is probably the wisest thing you've ever said.
Well,
temperature is temperature.
Well, think about this, though. It's 40 degrees and it's gray out. It's 40 degrees and it's bright sunshine out. It's still 40 degrees. However, there seems to always be a difference, at least in my mind. Maybe this is for other people, maybe not. When the sun is shining, it just feels like it's warmer.
Well, if you were in the sun, yes, it's going to feel
well, if you're out where the temperature is being taken and it's 40 degrees, right, it's still 40 degrees. So the temperature is 40, but you just feel like it's 50 or 60 because the sun is shining. And you feel better than those gray, ugly days. We've had too many of them. But today, the sun is shining. Memphis Tigers baseball at 2 o'clock today. They moved up the game. Ole Miss will be playing today against Xavier, which is the team Memphis played last weekend at FedEx Park. But that game will be at Swayze Field. It'll be a 3-game set, and that game will start today at 3:30 on 87.7 FM. So some baseball. The weather's a little chilly, but fine with the sun shining. No precipitation in the forecast. Last night it rained on the Grizzlies as they lose to the Sacramento Kings 129-125. The Grizzlies commit 19 turnovers in that game. And just the fact that they were in it in the end was a miracle because the Kings are hitting three-pointers like they're going out of style. The Grizzlies are turning the ball over. For 3 quarters, Ja Morant looked bad. Dare I say it? Yes, I will say it. And then he was explosive as he normally is in the fourth quarter. But in the end, the Grizzlies lose. Their record drops to 28-27. They've lost 4 straight to the Sacramento Kings. They trail by 18.
That's not true.
That's true. In Sacramento.
Okay.
In Sacramento.
They beat Sacramento earlier this year. So.
No. In Sacramento, 4 straight times. They trailed by 18 in the third quarter, but nobody is into moral victories, especially not professional sports teams. They really needed to win that game. I predicted they would lose. I said 0-4 on the road trip. Not that I'm a Debbie Downer. I just look at this thing as being brutal. But who knows? Maybe they'll steal one in L.A. Let's hope, and they can, that would be a real nice bounce back. But last night for 3 quarters, they did not look good. Maybe what they did in the fourth quarter battling back will lead to a better overall performance because you're going to have that in these next 3 games. You play like you did last night for 3 quarters, there's no coming back against the Lakers, Clippers, and Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, they with the way Sacramento was shooting the ball, especially early, this Harrison Barnes, I didn't think Harrison Barnes was ever going to miss a shot there for a while. He was just unbelievable. And you got De'Aaron Fox going 4 for 6 from 3-point range. That is not De'Aaron Fox's game to be knocking down threes like that. But De'Aaron Fox is kind of Ja's kryptonite. He is the one guy that has really given Ja problems this year. Every time they've played Sacramento, the speed of De'Aaron Fox has been an issue for Ja. Mm-hmm. They're going to go 19 of 39 from 3-point range. That's hard to overcome. I mean, when a team's shooting 50% from 3-point range on that many attempts, plus you turn it over twice as many times, that negates the huge rebounding advantage that the Grizzlies had. A 51-27 rebounding advantage gets negated by those turnovers. But it was a nice effort late in the fourth to give themselves an opportunity to win, but they just dug themselves too big of a hole to begin with. Dylan Brooks struggling again. Ever since that contract, man, his shooting has been just
I have the numbers
awful.
here.
It's what's amazing to me, the most amazing stat of this game is that Tyus Jones in a 4-point loss was a plus 27 in 18 minutes. Like that's hard to do.
And Ja was a minus what?
25.
And he scored how many in the fourth?
I don't know what
15.
Was it 15?
So he had a 15-point fourth quarter and still was a minus 25. That's how poorly he played. But you're right, Tyus Jones, he's been on a run. To have Tyus Jones do what he's doing, and that bench pulled the Grizzlies back into the game a couple of different times. And it wasn't certainly only Tyus Jones. D'Anthony Melton was terrific. 24 points, career high. And then Josh Jackson did a lot of good things with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, and a steal. This is a much deeper team. And then when you get Justice Winslow, they're even that much deeper. But the starters, that was the problem last night. And you had Harrison Barnes going for 32 points, shooting threes like he was Steph Curry, combined with De'Aaron Fox's 26. You get 58 from those two guys.
Yeah, that's the starting. You look at Harrison Barnes, what's weird is Barnes. This is why the plus minus. I don't pay much attention to plus minus. The Tyus Jones thing is amazing because you think of that. But like Harrison Barnes was a -6 in that game last night, despite having 32 points and shooting lights out, whereas Bielitsa was a plus 28. for having 8 points in his 32 minutes. He was a plus 28.
Right. It doesn't tell the complete story, but what it does say is when you were on the court, your team either outscored the other 5 or you were outscored. So as long as you're positive, I mean, whether you scored 2 points or 20 points, you were out there with that 5-man unit and you were outscoring your opponent's 5-man unit. So, yes, it's not the end-all, be-all by any stretch of the imagination. But let's get back to Dillon Brooks. I'm not saying that there's a correlation between the contract. It's probably just coincidence. But he signed the contract on February 5th. They played that night, and he was 1 for 3 from 3. So I counted that game up and through last night. First of all, his field goal percentage overall is way down. He had a great January, and that helped lead to that contract. 4 of 26 from 3 since signing that contract. 4 of 26. He's pivotal. He's a pivotal player on this team. If Dillon Brooks is shooting as poorly as he has been lately, they're in deep trouble. He has to be on. When he's scoring 20-plus, you know the record. When he's got that three-point shot going, teams really have to pay attention. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr. hit some threes last night, but if you have a combination of Jaren Jackson Jr. knocking down threes and then Dillon Brooks doing his thing, it opens up things even more for John Morant.
Yeah, Raider Corey said, texted in on the first big text, I said, what happened to Dillon? Got paid, well-deserved, but hasn't been his dominant self since. I'll chalk it up to just coincidence for now.
Right.
However, if we don't get prepaid Dillon back, good chance they miss the playoffs. Witness it all the time in other sports. Guys in contract years seem to have that incentive. Just my thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I think it is just purely coincidental.
I do too.
And there may be, he may feel a little extra pressure because he, once you get paid like that, there may be, you may put a little extra pressure on yourself. But I just think he's in a shooting slump.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think you're absolutely right. There are times when a player gets paid that they do press because they feel a little bit more pressure. But this team is so loosey-goosey. They're all together. They really have great chemistry. I can't imagine that is happening. But then again, we don't know Dillon personally what's going on through his mind. But he has to be better. If he's not better, look, they're already in trouble. I'm sorry. I just look at that schedule. And again, I'm not trying to be this Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be a realist. I'm trying to tell you the way I see it and not sugarcoat it like some other stations here in the city. They lost. They needed to win that game. I don't see them beating the Clippers. I don't see them beating the Lakers. I don't see them beating the Rockets. I will eat crow if they do. I'm hoping they do. I want them to be in the playoffs. How fun will that be? But there were people, again, I'm talking media, not just Joe Q public, who thought like, wow, 4-game lead with 28 games to go. That's a huge lead. No, it's not. They could be up 2 by next Friday. Their first home game back after the break could be up 2 because the Pelicans' schedule is not that strong coming up in the next week or so. I know Portland will not have Dame for 3 or 4 games. One of those games they play the Lakers. But that's why they play the game. So
Portland plays the Pelicans tonight, so one of them will win and
right.
One of them will lose.
Right. But
how about that analysis?
You would like to see like the teams that are right behind the Grizzlies just play each other and kind of knock each other off, but that's not the case. We know how tough this schedule is. That's a lot of basketball still to be played. 27 more games. You're sitting 3.5 up now on Portland after the loss last night. But stranger things happen. You don't expect something, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's been a whole year of unexpected things for the Grizzlies. Nobody predicted they would be in the position they are in. But I'm sorry, that schedule is absolutely daunting. And unless all these guys are playing up to snuff, Jonas Valanciunas was basically not a factor last night. He wasn't in there in the fourth. And we go back to Dillon Brooks. If Dillon Brooks is not hitting shots, and then Ja, who's been God, heaven sent, he's not above criticism. Big fourth quarter. He was awful the first 3 quarters. I mean, really bad. Some of the worst basketball he's played this year. And they need that for 4 quarters against the better team. Sacramento's not one of the better teams, although I always scratch my head when I look at that Sacramento team, and that's why I predicted a loss by the Grizzlies, is I still think they're, like, really talented. I don't know what the issues are. There are always issues with Sacramento, and they were missing some guys still for injuries, but they're always going to find a way to.
One of the problems is they got a bad coach, but
Yes.
I'd say Bazemore, Parker, and Heald off the bench. You would think that team would at least be somewhere, I don't know, 5 games under 500 instead of 11.
I look at that talent, and I said, De'Aaron Fox, we just talked about him. He is really, really good. You're right. You got a sharpshooter like Heald, who's basically instant offense. Now, Bagley's out. They've had some injuries. They pick up a Barnes, who last night was a difference maker. It's like his old self, Harrison Barnes. Bogdanovich. They got some players. But anyway, Lakers tonight. Lakers 11.5-point favorites.
somebody texted and said, when you take a lead in the fourth quarter, how can you say they dug too big of a hole? First, I don't think they ever got the lead in the fourth quarter.
No.
I don't believe they got
Kings,
within one.
The Kings tried to give them it.
Yeah. And they got within one, I think.
Did they get within one? I thought they got within 2.
It may have been 2, but yeah, they got close, but they never took the lead in the fourth quarter. And plus, even that, like you expend so much energy trying to come back that sometimes even if you get there, like you just don't have anything left. I mean, they were, the 18-point hole they dug was too much to overcome.
Well, they also had 7 turnovers in the fourth quarter. They had 19 turnovers for the game. So even though they battled back, give Sacramento credit, they came down and they made shots. The Grizzlies' defense was not good last night. And then you top it off with 19 turnovers, and they give up 19 threes. What did they hit, 12 themselves, the Grizzlies?
The Grizzlies were 12 of 30.
So they were outscored by 21 at the three-point line by Sacramento. All that adds up to a loss.
Yeah, they got within one at 125,
Oh, they did?
124
Okay.
with 7 seconds left. That was the closest.
Oh,
they
with
got.
7
That was
seconds. All right.
When Melton made the 3 free throws, they got within 1 point.
Yeah, Sacramento was trying to give that one away. Right, Gabe? I mean, they were doing everything they could.
It was ridiculous, quite frankly.
It was.
How do you foul Melton in that situation?
Because
I understand the foul if you're doing it in the backcourt, where it's like, okay, he's just going to get his 2 shots and you move on. But if you're going to foul him when he gets to the front court and might take a 3-pointer, like, come on, man.
The funny thing was, like, I was up at East Coast Wings watching the game, and I was like, I'd gotten my tab and was ready to leave with like 2 minutes left. I'm like, all right, this game's over. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I'm like, they kept me. I was like, okay, they're never gonna let me leave. Like,
give me another dozen.
The Kings are like making sure that I do not leave here. Like, come on, seriously, like, what's going on here? Are they gonna win this game, or are the Grizzlies gonna figure out a way to come back and overtake them?
At one point, I think when Giles fouled out, they missed a free throw to let them come close, and he fouls him while he's grabbing the rebound. It's like, what? You didn't take any time off the clock. There's 12 seconds left. He hits these 2 free throws. They're within 1. It's like, what are you doing?
They made it interesting. They stretched it out. Everybody who was trying to go to bed, they had to wait around. Unfortunately, even as close as they got, and I forgot they did get to within 1, I never felt they were going to break through. I always felt in that situation that Sacramento was going to make a shot because they were getting shots at will, whether it be the threes that they were knocking down or drive into the hole, get into the free throw line. It was just one of those things. So all I could think of last night was, oh, my gosh, the Grizzlies are turning into the Tigers. All the turnovers that we saw. And then I was waiting for somebody to say, yeah, but they're young. They're a young team. They're going to make mistakes. It's a youthful team. So there was ugly similarities when you look at it with what has been the Tigers situation, and then last night with the Grizzlies and all the mistakes they made. But 7 key turnovers in that fourth quarter.
Except for the Grizzlies with 27 of 32 from the free throw line. So
yeah, they made their free throws. Hey,
when you got D'Anthony Melton go 10 for 10, that helps.
Yeah, he was fantastic. 24 points, career high. Again, this team has become a really deep team. Now, some people, I don't even know why you would bring this up. Taylor Jenkins is pushing all the right buttons. I think he's been absolutely terrific. But there were people that were criticizing him using Guterich a little bit in the second quarter.
That is worthy of criticism. Guterich he's just not good.
Okay.
He shouldn't be on the floor.
Okay, do you think we know more basketball than Taylor Jenkins?
No.
Taylor Jenkins had his reason to use him, didn't use him in the fourth quarter, brought him in the second quarter. I mean, either it was a hunch or something that he thought maybe he could do to help the team. He's not putting him in there just because he feels bad for him on the bench that he hasn't played him. He goes deep. He goes deep with this team. Again, when you bring Winslow back, who will probably start off coming off the bench and then eventually become a starter, you would think, that's even another player in the rotation. But so far, I mean, it seems like everybody's happy. Nobody's complaining, at least what we hear. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but it seems like it's kumbaya. Everybody's happy. I mean, here's Valanciunas, who is such a pivotal part of this team, but there are games where it's just, it doesn't make sense to have him in there, and he's not in there. But, he's not walking away from the huddle and squawking about it. I guarantee you he wants to be in there. He wants to play. But when you're going against a team that goes smaller and is making it a horse race up and down the court, it doesn't make sense to have him in there. So it's only one game. I've heard that too today. It's their first game after the break. Yeah, but it was also the Kings' first game after the break. You have to win some of these road games in this final stretch of now 27 games if you are to hang on and finish 8th. Let me ask you this. If they don't make the playoffs because of the position they put themselves into now, despite the preseason predictions of 22 wins, 23 wins, is it a disappointment?
No. I mean, it's disappointing for fans. Like, it'd be nice to make the playoffs. But
the season's still deemed a success, right?
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Well, when we come back, we'll take your calls on the Grizzlies if you'd like to. First Bank phone lines 360-8255. You could text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. You could also watch us live and message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. More on the Grizzlies and the NBA. We'll talk some Tigers as well. The latest with the NFL and the CBA. Lots going on here on the program. Matt Moore will join us at 11. Matt Dillon at 12. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Yeah, so Aiden's coffee spot is really undope. They asked what they can get me, and I'm like, the code to the bathroom. Stop trying to sell me something.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Also, the Wi-Fi password was too hard to spell, and I can, totally spell stuff.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
They didn't have any cups out for the free cream, so I just drank it out of the pitcher.
Get a quote online today at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we'll give you this barbershop quartet who'll sing the name of the perfect hire.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy. Vince Lundy. Vince Lundy.
Okay, there's no quartet. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays, the Friday edition. We've opened up talking about the Grizzlies and their loss last night to the Sacramento Kings. Let's go to the phone lines. First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. David will start us off. Hi, David.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. I think when you look at if the Grizzlies play teams that has a guy that goes hits his first 7 threes, that's going to be a problem. I mean, what Harrison Barnes did, that was just ridiculous.
I don't even think he hit the rim on his first 7 either. Like it was like just unbelievable what he was doing.
And Dylan Brooks, man. I mean, I don't know if it's the contract or what, but I mean, you know, he takes the bad shots that if he was just a catch and shoot guy, but for some reason he thinks he's, I guess his inner Kobe Bryant. He tries to take everything to the rim, and he's not athletic, so he can't get his shots off like athletic wings in the NBA. So if he would just stick to catching and shooting. But he's even missing those lately.
No, you're right. For a while there, I mean, anything he threw up was going in. He gets the contract. I still think it's a coincidence. It's a short sample size, but let's see what happens here over the next 4 or 5 games, because 4 of 26 from 3 since signing the deal is not going to cut it.
Yeah, and also I was listening to Peter earlier, and he was talking about, for Jaren Jackson to play 33 minutes and basically take 10 shots, that's not good either.
Yeah.
The shot distribution has to be a lot better, I think.
No, I hear you, David. Thank you, man. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, it was just a bad all-around performance last night, and then they started to get their act together in the fourth. But I think what was more disappointing than even the offense was defensively last night. They did a poor job protecting the paint. They did a poor job protecting the perimeter. I just think it was not Grizzlies basketball, and we've seen them play really good defense for the most part. And now you're getting the big challenge of having to go up against LeBron and Davis, and then Kawhi, and then Harden and Westbrook. By the way, last night Houston played, and they won going away, and Westbrook didn't get tossed. They were up 35, and he got tossed. Do you know what happened in that game by chance?
I do not know.
I just saw it on SportsCenter like a tease going to the commercial that he was tossed, and they were up 35.
He got into it with the Warriors bench. I want to say it was Andrew Wiggins and him sort of going back and forth, but I didn't really see Andrew Wiggins talking. I don't know exactly what happened. And then Russell Westbrook tried to walk away, and he's bumping into all the Warriors players and then trying to get technicals. It's just it was theater is what it was.
Is Russell fake tough guy or real tough guy? That's a debatable one, right? We don't know. We don't know if he ever followed through, but man, he has that scowl on his face 24/7, and they rolled last night. Also last night, Trae Young.
It's really weird to me to think of Andrew Wiggins as the Golden State Warrior too.
I know.
It just doesn't even sound right.
I know when he said it, I had to. Okay,
it just doesn't. For some reason, that does not fit.
Andrew Wiggins, Trae Young last night, 50 points. Atlanta beat Miami 129-124, and then there's I guess beef with him and Jimmy Butler.
Yes, that's from the last time when the last time they played, where he said at the end of the game it's over, and then Miami came back and beat him, and Butler said, yeah, he was right, it was over, all that stuff. So
there's a lot of Twitter wars and social media wars between players in the NBA.
Young's performance last night, man, he was hitting shots. He was just pulling up from 10 feet behind the line. Like he never even went close to the 3-point line. It was just deep threes.
Of course, everybody liked his ankle breaker on Iguodala.
Oh, my gosh.
Of course, I log on to Twitter, and that's the first thing I see.
It was retweeted like 100 times from people
taking
I follow.
over my timeline.
So, look, it would be fantastic to have a shooter like Trae Young, a shooter like Steph Curry, a shooter like James Harden. I mean, I named 3, and there's a few others in the league, but for the most part, everybody doesn't have that skilled a shooter. But Dylan Brooks is now being paid to be that guy, to be the assassin from the outside. So our caller and what we said earlier, hopefully he doesn't feel pressure. I don't think so, but I don't know him personally where, we discuss these things. Dylan Brooks, 4 of 26 from 3, has to be better, and it has to start against the Lakers.
I mean, the that guy for the Grizzlies is Jaren Jackson Jr.
No, it's not.
He's the best shooter of the team. He shoots nearly 40% from three-point range, attempting more than anybody.
But he doesn't attempt the amount that these other guys do, and he's not always out there on the perimeter.
He attempts the most on the Grizzlies
I know,
and shoots 40%. So the Grizzlies guy is Jaren Jackson Jr.
That pales in comparison to these other sharpshooters I've talked about. Don't even put Jaren Jackson Jr. in that category. I don't think he's important to knock down threes, but Jaren Jackson Jr. is important for many different aspects of his game, defensively, to block shots, to alter shots, things of that nature. Brooks is there to score. That's it. Brooks is there to score. And our caller made the point about him trying to, bring out his inner Kobe and go to the hole and fallaways and things like that. Now, for a while there in January, he was hitting everything. He was out of sight, man. He was hitting everything. Now, he can't buy a bucket, but he's pivotal. Look, they're all important. There's no margin, there's no room for error here because this is a team trying to stay in 8th place. This isn't a team in the top 3. So they're really competitive this year in what was a complete rebuild, but it's a slim margin from being a playoff team and being out, as everybody knows. So if all these guys that have helped put him in this position, Ja, Jaren, Dylan, all the rest of these guys underperform, like a couple of them underperform, especially key players, starters, then you're in trouble.
I'm just telling you, the Grizzlies shooter is Jaren Jackson Jr.
Okay. How many threes has he attempted compared to Dylan Brooks?
More.
He attempts 7 a game.
Yeah,
he's attempted more than Dylan Brooks? That's surprising to me.
I'm telling you, I don't know why you don't, like, he shot 9 last night. Like, he does this every game.
I know, but I
don't think you do.
Okay. Listen to me. Jaren Jackson Jr. is more than a three-point shooter. All right? What he brings to the table defensively puts him into a different category. Dylan Brooks is scorer. That's it. That's all Dylan Brooks is a scorer. They need him to score 18 to 20 points a game. That's the point I'm making. Jaren Jackson Jr., I understand is a three-point shooter. I understand is a good offensive player. He brings more to the table. He's more well-rounded. Brooks is being paid to shoot the basketball, and right now he is not shooting it well. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just telling you, Jaren is the guy, the shooter on this team.
Okay. All right. That's fantastic.
Brooks puts up 5 a game, and Jaren puts up 7 a game.
Okay. And total?
Jaren has attempted 339. Dylan has attempted 294.
Wow, 339.
And Jaren shoots 40%. He's the best shooter and shoots the most. Like
right.
he is the shooter of this team.
Okay, but then you're paying Brooks to what? To score. To be an offensive player. You're not paying Dylan Brooks to be this defensive stalwart, stopper, shot blocker, rebounder. That's okay. We're both right with our points, but that's all I'm trying to say with Dylan Brooks. You're paying him to score, and if he's not scoring and he's shooting 0 for 5 from 3 or 0 from 8 from 3, then he's hurting the team. That's all I'm saying. Mark is next. Mark, how are you?
I'm good.
What you got?
That was a tough one last night. I think Taylor Jenkins has done a great job all year. I think he doesn't necessarily stick to rotations sometimes when he's got a hot hand, but I think that one's on him last night. In the first quarter, the starters were horrible, and the bench came in and dug us out of a hole. And then the third quarter, same thing. That the starters dug a deep hole, and then you ended the third quarter, had good energy, good offense. You're scoring, you're getting some stops on defense, and then he starts the fourth quarter and he changes the lineup again. I think that was a time that he needed to stay with a hot hand because you dig yourself a hole again. for whatever reason, our main guys didn't match up good with them last night, and our subs did. I mean, I thought, Melton was great. Josh Jackson was great. They gave, good energy and good play, and you can't expect the bench to dig you out of a hole that many times in a game and pull the thing out.
And that is a fair, Mark, that's a really good point and a fair point. I want to expound on that. Thank you for the phone call. The point is that they went back to Dylan Brooks. They went back to the starters, although they didn't bring back Valanciunas. And why not stay with the hot hands? Well, one, you got to give some guys a breather, too. And then eventually Melton came back in. He did play Josh a lot longer than he normally does. But, Brooks was back on the floor, and he was not good. So Mark's point is well taken. If you got a couple of guys that are really playing well, why don't you stick with them?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned Tyus Jones was a plus 27 in this game. You could have easily made the case that you ride the Tyus Jones, DeAnthony Melton backcourt as long as you possibly could. I mean, they were both really, really good last night.
Right.
I mean, heck, they were combined 6 out of 7 from 3-point range. So there's no doubt you could have made the case that, they probably you could have went with Jones and Melton as your backcourt longer.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point by Mark. All right, Myron is next. Hey, Myron.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Dylan Brooks and the Grizzlies moving forward. When they gave him that big contract, I thought it was a good deal because he was emerging as a key cog in the new Grizzlies. Dylan Brooks should easily be scoring no less than 15 points a game just in the flow of the offense. If you ask me, he can drive, he can make outside shots. And remember on that recent trip when they had a good little playing spell, it was he and Valanciunas who came out and shot up the early leads in the first and second quarter. So he was hot then. And ironically, that was right before the contract signing.
Right.
So it could be a little pressing going on, but he's a key cog, and he should easily be able to score an average 15 points a game with his offensive skills, if you ask me.
No question.
Which is what he averages.
Yeah, no question, Myron. But he is, again, I think it's a coincidence. Eli thinks it's a coincidence. We'll see. It's still a small sample size. But he goes another 5-6 games really struggling shooting the ball, especially from beyond the arc. Then you have to wonder if there is a little bit more pressure on him or he's putting it on himself with the contract.
He's putting it on himself. Now, here's the other point I wanted to make before I left. The key to the Grizzlies the rest of the year is defensively being better at defending the perimeter and the outside shots.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I like the games with Utah and Denver is Valanciunas stays in those games a longer period of time because both those teams have big centers. Everybody else can resort to small ball at any time.
Right.
Get Jonas out of the game, even if he's having a good game.
Yeah.
So that burden of being able to defend the perimeter and the 3-point shooting. After all, you got Houston. That's the team that's going to be committed to taking 50 shots. Doesn't how many they're going to make. But that will be the key defensively and moving forward. I think they're still solid offensively, but they got to be able to learn how to do that real quick on the defensive end.
Another good call. Thanks, Myron. Appreciate it. Yeah, that Houston.
Ric Flair there for a second.
He did.
Did he give me a little woo?
Yeah, he's right. That Houston game, I don't think you'll see Jonas Valanciunas much in that fourth quarter. Probably the least amount of minutes he'll play all season against that Houston team. They are going small ball and really small.
See, the thing, I mean, on that, now granted, you could say, well, it's 2 for 3, but you can, if you leave Jonas out there, they don't have anybody that can guard him either.
That's the counter, right. Just because they do something, why don't you try something that's the opposite and see if it works? Maybe you do, and then you see how it's going. You're right.
Jonas shouldn't miss a shot from the field. They have no one out there that can even match up.
Get every rebound. It's like they're playing like the little kids. He's like just grabbing every rebound.
He should get 40 and 20. There should be no excuse.
The thing with Dylan, I mean, part of I think with Dylan Brooks is this is a little bit of, I mean, things that kind of like Dylan isn't as good as he was in the stretch
in January,
and he's not this bad. But it all averages out. Like in the end, you kind of are what you are, and your stats will usually kind of bring you there.
Yeah, but we want him to be January all the time.
I mean, he's just not that. Like, he's not that good, and he's not this bad. He's somewhere in between. But he averages 15 a game. He's shooting 37.5% from 3-point range on this. Like, that's what Dillon is.
And they're paying him like that. They're not paying him January Dillon, because if they had to pay him January Dillon, they'd have to break the bank for him. They got a great deal. Dillon got a nice deal. Everything's copacetic. But Dillon has to pick it up moving forward. James Gaddis Jewelers is the first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, located at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. If you drive Poplar, and who doesn't, you pass it all the time if you're in East Memphis. They've been around there for 23-plus years serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners. The website is GaddisJewelers.com. Your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Guys, it's not the easiest thing to pick out the right ring. It's the biggest decision of your life. But James and Linda and the rest of the pros at James Gaddis Jewelers, they will have the answer to your question. They will steer you in the right direction and make sure that you are picking out the right ring. James is a master jeweler, a certified appraiser, a diamondologist, and graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. So he has some credentials. They are full-service jewelers. They have 2 bench jewelers ready to serve you daily. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. And they know there's a lot of competition out there, so they have the price point. They have a price point to suit everyone's budget. So go in there. Don't expect anything. I mean, obviously, the financial situation for people is always different. They want to make sure that you get the jewelry you're looking for, the right, whether it's a ring, whether it's a watch, whatever it is. They have vintage jewelry. They'll make sure it's affordable for you. James is a Christian Brothers High School graduate, a Memphian through and through. So for your wedding, engagement, and anniversary rings, all other fine jewelry, let James be your choice. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Again, the website, GaddisJewelers.com. Give them a call. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, 901-767-9648 for James Gaddis Jewelers. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about a new or used car truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Listen to what Sunrise has to offer. Over 1,000 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from with factory rebates up to $6,500 and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay at Sunrise. We specialize in secondary financing, and if you've got a job, you're approved at Sunrise. The #1 volume Buick GMC dealer in the Mid-South and home of the guaranteed credit approval. SunriseMemphis.com, Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag Equipment can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, these tractors can tackle every chore on your to-do list. Call 662-890-3141 or stop in today to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at MemphisFarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. Soon you'll have a separate fridge in the basement where extra groceries are exiled forever. Remember that frozen lasagna? Of course you don't. It's been down there since 2008. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. Piece of cake. Behind the lasagna, it's very old. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
A couple of texts here at the First Bank text line. Dylan Brooks shoots the Grizzlies out of a lot of games. Now he's overpaid in fool's gold.
Wow.
Jaron is the team's best three-point shooter. Another one about Josh Jackson. Says perhaps he can have more of Dylan's minutes. I'm not buying that we need to take Valanciunas out just because the opponent goes smaller. That just indicates where we keep allowing the other team to dictate the tempo. Dylan cannot continue to put pressure on himself or demand the ball because he must score 20 points. It seems like he needs to play like he did in the beginning of last night's game.
Yeah, but let's make it clear. Just because he's in a little bit of a funk here in February doesn't mean that Taylor Jenkins is going to give Dylan Brooks less minutes. He's a starter. They're paying him. Hopefully he'll come out of the funk. As far as Josh Jackson is concerned, I mean, he did a lot of good things last night. He did some bad things too, but he's fun to watch. I mean, he throws that bullet pass he throws the hardest pass I think I've ever seen. It's like a baseball throw. But Josh Jackson, he's a talent, and he certainly gave them good minutes last night. Melton was fantastic. Tyus Jones, we talked about him. Brandon Clark, not a huge game last night, but he's been unbelievable. The bench is so solid. That's why if the starters do their thing, and they've done it for the most part, to go along with that bench, they're a tough out.
Yeah, I like with Melton and Jackson as a kind of a combination in that second unit because both of those guys are guys that do everything. Like it's they will get your rebounds. They all like you watch at the end of the game. All of a sudden you're like, look at their stats, and they've just seems like they've checked every category. Like Jackson will block shots. He was very good blocking shots at the G League level. He gets steals. Melton does that. Melton's a great rebounder for his size.
Right.
They're both willing passers. Like those two guys are both really just versatile guys that's a nice combination, an extremely athletic combination to have as well.
And that's what my point was with Dylan Brooks, that he doesn't assist. He's not throwing passes. He's being paid to score.
And to go on that text, just because you don't have Jonas out there doesn't mean you're letting them dictate pace. The problem is Jonas trying to match up with a smaller guy on the perimeter will be an issue.
That's the thing. It goes to the thing of like, okay, who's kind of going to give in? Like because again, you could say, well, all right, Jonas can't guard any of their guys because he can't keep up with them, but that also on the other end, they don't have anybody big enough to guard Jonas, but then you could also say, well, him not keeping up with the guy could give up 3 points. And you're only getting 2. So if you're trading 3s for 2s, that's a bad math equation.
Again, they pay Taylor Jenkins and that staff to decide which way they're going to do things, game plan. We can sit here and Monday morning quarterback or whatever the case is, using a football term, but they're the ones that got to make the decision on what's advantageous. And I guarantee you that they're thinking the same thing as the texter is and that we brought up earlier. It's like, as Eli brought up with the counter. Well, who's to say that you have to, if they're a small team like Houston, have to go small? Why don't you counter and go big? Well, they're looking at those things too, and they're kind of weighing the options. You're right. You don't want to be giving up 3s and you're scoring 2s. You're -1 every single time. There's also some news yesterday from Evan Barnes with the Commercial Appeal, who's now doing Grizzlies work, was the Tiger football beat writer this past season. But he tweeted out yesterday, and I haven't seen anything since, nothing from the Grizzlies or the Hustle, that your boy, Dusty Buckets, Dusty Hannas, is going to sign a 10-day contract with the Grizzlies. We've had Dusty on the show. We've had Jason March. Recently had Jason March, and we talked to him about him specifically, that somebody's got to give him an opportunity, right? Hadn't happened. Again, nothing official, but we'll see if Evan's news comes to fruition, and Dusty Hannas will get a crack at a 10-day deal with the Grizzlies.
Yep, I have not heard anything. So I don't. The Hustle or on the road. I do not know if Dusty is with them or not.
Okay. Tomorrow, Tigers and Houston. News from the Cougars. Quentin Grimes, doubtful, according to head coach Kelvin Sampson, with a hip injury. The Kansas transfer, big part of that Houston team. You don't wish ill on anybody as far as injuries are concerned, but that's not bad. If Quentin Grimes can't go, I'm sure the Tigers will take that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a must-win game.
Must win.
If you're
Absolutely.
going to have any hope whatsoever of possibly sneaking into the tournament as an at-large, you have to win this game. Another home loss and you are done. And it would be a quad 1 win.
It would, even though you're home. It's a quad 1.
Well, Houston, I
always get that confused.
Houston's top 30, I think. They have to be top.
I know they're in the polls, but that doesn't mean anything.
Let me double-check the latest net. I believe Houston is a top 30. Now, it may not end up being. They may fall out of the top 30, but I have to assume they are top 30 right now.
26.
Yeah, they're 26th right now. So it would be borderline. They might end up falling out of the top 30. So it may not end up as one, but it would, at this point, it would be a quad 1 win.
From the University of Memphis, and I was over at an event yesterday on campus at the Penny Hardaway Hall of Fame, and I talked to Laird Veach about this announcement that he was going to have today, and it's now come out. It's been released by the university. They have kind of structured their administrative leadership team, and for people who are Memphis followers, maybe alums, Laird Veach announcing a new structure to the department's administrative leadership team to facilitate continued growth, increased efficiency, and greater opportunities for the comprehensive program and more than 400 student athletes. So they kind of have levels of their people within their department, and the top line of the executive organizational chart under Veach's leadership will be Jeff Crane, who's a friend of the show, Deputy Athletics Director, Lauren Ashman, the Executive Associate Athletics Director, Senior Woman Administrator, and Dr. Adam Walker, the Executive Associate Athletics Director, Administration. Then they have the next tier, which includes our good friend Steve Macy and others. A couple of new faces, new names that have been brought on. So I talked to Laird about how important, he talked about how important it was to kind of structure what we're doing inside the administration. So that was announced today by the University of Memphis. From the world of college football, Steve Sarkisian, he ain't going anywhere. He remains at the University of Alabama. He will be given a huge pay raise as the offensive coordinator. And he has said thanks but no thanks to the interest that Colorado had in him. Also, Eric Bieniemy has said thanks but no thanks to his alma mater. Will remain with the Chiefs.
Colorado's getting into that situation where you got to find somebody who will take the job. You can't keep getting turned down.
Do you think in the end, if you're Troy Calhoun and you get offered, you jump on it, right? You're Air Force, Mountain West. I can't imagine he's making a ton at Air Force, relatively speaking. But you're starting to think more and more that this Brett Bielema thing has a strong possibility?
Yeah, I mean, because again, like you get to a point where, like, if you're going to offer it to Troy Calhoun, you better know he's going to take it. Like, you can't keep getting turned out. You're getting to that point where you've got to find somebody who's going to take the job.
Right.
You don't want to be on like your seventh option. and they're starting to get there.
Also yesterday, it's only February, but SEC Media Days and the structure for this year's event has been announced. It will be July 13th through the 16th. It'll be at the College Football Hall of Fame and the Omni Hotel in Atlanta. So the second time in 3 years they'll be in hot Atlanta. The Monday teams that will be represented, Florida, LSU, and Mizzou. Tuesday, Georgia, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. So the Lane Train on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. You have Nick Saban and his old buddy, Coach Pruitt. And then you have the Pirate, Mike Leach. Same day as Saban. That's going to be crazy. They'll wrap it up on Thursday with Auburn, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. SEC Media Days. Shall I say it? Just around the corner in July. Just around the corner here on Middays, Matt Moore. He'll join us next. He covers the NBA for the Action Network. He'll kick off hour number 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Yeah, so Aiden's coffee spot is really undope. They asked what they can get me, and I'm like, the code to the bathroom. Stop trying to sell me something.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Also, the Wi-Fi password was too hard to spell, and I can, totally spell stuff.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
They didn't have any cups out for the free cream, so I just drank it out of the pitcher.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Hi, Saver. Walgreens here. We like the way you save. Take coffee. You know it doesn't have to cost $4 a cup, so you make your own. And copays on Medicare Part D. You save up to $5 and get 100 Balance Rewards points on each prescription when Walgreens is your preferred pharmacy. Save smartly on Med D. Walgreens. Trusted since 1901. Copay savings on Tier 1 generic drugs available through select plans that include Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Points cannot be earned in Arkansas, New Jersey, or New York. Complete details at walgreens.com/balance.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Chase Limb and Brace.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:02 the time. Hour 2 of the program on this Friday, February 21st, 2020. A little Bob Seger never hurt anybody. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at FedEx.com/global. Gaston.com/ecommerce. Also, the second hour of the program is brought to you by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort in Tunica, Mississippi. Well, as promised, time to talk some more NBA, some Grizzlies, but we'll look at the entire association as we're getting into the stretch run here as we get closer and closer to postseason play. I'm very pleased to be joined by Matt Moore, who covers the NBA for the Action Network. You can follow him on Twitter at MattMooreTAN and at HP Basketball. He joins us now on Middays. Matt, how are you?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Man, we're doing okay. We'd be happier if the Grizzlies took care of business last night. That was a tough one. I can't say it's a bad loss. It's a road loss. But when you look at this, what's left on the season, this tough, rugged schedule they have, and this 4-game road trip, that was probably one they needed to get, and unfortunately they did not. You know the schedule. There's not a lot left, and the Grizzlies have a tough one with make that a 3.5-game lead now for that 8th and final playoff spot. What do you think the chances are they can hold on?
They're not. They're better than it's kind of been made out to be. There's kind of an assumption that the Grizzlies will fall off. They're like, oh, look at the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this long enough to know that a lot of times what you need to look at is the win profile of the teams that are in play. And the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, and the Blazers all are involved, and the Spurs to a degree, are all the types of teams that can lose to the Kings and then win versus better teams. So there's a good chance that Memphis is going to pick up some surprise wins that will help them out. There's also the opportunity late in the season for teams to be resting. And when you get into that range, that can help you kind of squeak by. Having the lead that they do helps. Now, look, assuming they lose to the Lakers, dropping the back-to-back is not a good way to start. But they're going to at least get one of those teams between the Pelicans and the Blazers another game back because they play tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So all those teams playing each other, that's going to help things as well. Memphis, I think, will have a hard time of it. I think that there's a good reason why the Pelicans are favored in a lot of books to wind up with that 8th seed. But I do think the Grizzlies are going to make it tough all the way to the end.
Matt, how surprised are you or have you been by what the Grizzlies have done so far this season, already surpassing the Vegas win total for the season and the fact that they are in playoff position?
Shocked. Stunned. Look, I said that the under was the play, and the reason was, like, young teams don't win in this league. They just don't. Teams that are this young and have to go through the growing pains of learning how to win in the NBA, it takes time. And this team came together almost immediately, and a lot of that is the singular talent of Ja Morant. A lot of that's the steps that Jaren Jackson made this year. A lot of it's getting Dylan Brooks back healthy. Brandon Clark being better than I think a lot of folks expected, though there were some in the draft community that knew he was going to be really good. Taylor Jenkins, I think, has done an awesome job,
Mm-hmm.
and they've really – the biggest thing is that they were able to find offense early. They were able to get their defense back where it needed to be. And if you're able to defend at a high level, it's going to give you a chance with the kind of athleticism that they have. Playing disciplined basketball for a young team flips everything. And that maybe is the most impressive thing, I think, about their run this season.
All right, so there's no question in my mind and in the mind of many people that Ja is the NBA Rookie of the Year. But let me play devil's advocate for just a second. If New Orleans ends up being that 8th place team in the playoffs and Zion from here on out, and he's already off to a good start in the few games he's played, goes crazy, is there any chance, Matt, he could steal that Rookie of the Year award?
There's a little chance. It's really difficult. So you have to think about the way to think about this is not like who should win, but what the electorate is going to do. Mm-hmm. And the electorate is about 30% like serious like analysts like Zach Lowe of ESPN, about 30% TV personalities, and then about 30% beat writers. The beat writers are more susceptible to narrative. So, Zion comes in and leads his team to the playoffs and is the story, and like nobody's ever seen anything like this. That's going to be powerful. The television personalities tend to go with who's on national TV more, and Zion's going to check that box. And so, like, John's going to get the analysts' vote. Like, that's done. Like, they're not going to be able to find any way to discount the huge game discrepancy there. I think it's safe to say that John's going to win, but the other thing to be concerned about is if there's a really split 1-2 vote, a lot of second place votes are going to go to Zion, to the point where he's saying like, well, Ja has to get second. Well, no, sometimes people go crazy with these awards, especially like Rookie of the Year. And the point differentials, even if Ja got more first place votes, the point differential could wind up getting Zion the number one spot. I think it's really unlikely, though. I just can't see most of the voters being able to justify. At this point, it's not even about deciding between the two. It's going to be, how am I going to punish Ja when he's played so many more games and done all of this for Memphis, versus, Zion, who has Drew Holiday and Derek Favors and Brandon Ingram, all these other guys on his team, on a really good team. I think they're going to find it really hard to not reward Ja with Rookie of the Year.
Matt Moore joining us from the Action Network. If you were, having now seen both of them, if you had to choose one of them for the next 10 years, which one would you choose?
Well, that's a good question. Because like the league's so perimeter oriented.
Yeah.
Like guards are what dictate this league. I'm probably still going to go Zion. And the reason is he's just so physically insane. Like, he's just, like, you watch him and he's just present on every single play. Now, look, I think Ja's vision is incredible. His command and control of the game is so far ahead of where I expected it to be. Like, these two guys are looking like, faces of the league going into the future. That's how good we're talking about. But Zion's just so physically dominant. But look, I think there are injury concerns with Zion, whether he can stay healthy. But then you look at the way that Ja Morant lands literally anytime he dunks, and I start to have a heart attack. So, like, I think it's really close. I'll say Zion just because of the insane physical presence that he brings. But if I'm Memphis, I'm completely happy going forward with Ja Morant.
Yeah, look, I'm in agreement with everything you said. And, just watching last night, that Sacramento game, when Ja was trying to drive, two guys would come over and they were collapsing on him. If the Grizzlies can just consistently knock down outside shots, I mean, it's going to open things up. And he's a joy to watch. But I wonder if he was in a major market right now. Ja was in New York. Ja was in Chicago. Right now he's getting a lot of national publicity and deservingly so. What would it be like if he was in a major market doing this?
Pandemonium, just at mass chaos. Just like, is he the next Jordan? Like, that's what the conversation would be. If he was in LA, they would be talking about how he's the second coming. Like, wow. This is just the reality of these things. That's been a problem all year that I've kind of been commenting on. It's just like the league has a real problem with how it markets itself. And guys like Ja's having, just a transcendent season. And there's NBA fans and then there's sports fans. And I think NBA fans all know Ja Morant. And I'm not sure how many sports fans do. And that's like a problem. Yeah. Like, if he's got this team in the playoffs currently, got to the All-Star break with the Grizzlies above 500, he's a good shooter. He's a good passer. He's a good defender. He has good control of the game. He makes winning plays. Like, there's nothing you can knock him on. There's nothing. Like, Trae Young is a bigger probably star than him right now. And like, Ja's a much better player. Like, he just is. Like, Ja's a much better player than Trae Young. I'm willing to go ahead and say that. And that's even with Atlanta not being that big of a market. But yeah, like, I definitely think that there's a huge problem with the fact that if you don't have the market, because that's the thing, is the biggest story with Ja Morant may wind up being like, if in 7 years when everybody's like, who's going to trade for Ja Morant? And that's just annoying to me that I could already see that coming.
Speaking of trades, what did you think of what the Grizzlies did at the deadline in getting Justice Winslow and how he could fit in with this group?
So the core element of Andre Iguodala for Justice Winslow, that's great. Like, love that part. No question there. I thought, I go back and forth. I'm still undecided. Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill were so good for Memphis. Just Crowder's ability to make like energy plays and the kind of like veteran presence that he brought. Solomon Hill was shooting 38% from three. Like, I thought Solo was playing great this year. And I understand the idea of like, yeah, but we get Justice Winslow, where if he's healthy, he can hit threes and play. And he's another playmaker. So now you would have Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks and Justice Winslow, all who can create with the ball, and having that versatility is so helpful in today's NBA. I get it, and I get it from the long-term perspective, but like I was a little bit nervous, and I continue to be nervous that losing Crowder and Solo will hurt them in making the playoffs this season. And that's not bad. Like, they don't need to make the playoffs this year. It's more a matter of, you don't want to go from you were going to make the playoffs and then you didn't, and being able to say, yeah, but if you kept those two guys, like, they would have helped last night. Like, Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder would have helped in that game last night. And that's where I think the trade was fine for the long term. It's just kind of like, that's too bad in terms of losing what those guys were bringing this season.
Matt Moore from the Action Network joining us here on the program. You were talking earlier about this being a guard-oriented NBA now. Houston has done something that's a little bit unorthodox, going really, really, really guard-oriented, really, really small. Will it work out for them?
It's going to depend on who they play. So if the thing about the Western Conference is it's all based on matchups. It's all based on matchups at the top. So as good as the Lakers are, they're really vulnerable to three-point teams. When the Rockets played them after the deadline, the Lakers shot 50% from the field and lost because the Rockets hit 10 more threes than they did. The Lakers don't take a lot of threes. The Clippers take a lot of threes, but they're also really susceptible to teams that can apply pressure at the rim and from the three-point line. That's all Houston does, and that's especially all they do now. And so Houston matches up way better with the Clippers and Lakers than they did before the trade. The problem is they match up way worse with Denver and Utah, and that is a legitimate concern. Utah probably is still going to fall because Rudy Gobert isn't good enough on his own as a scorer to be able to punish them. But Denver literally got involved in that trade. Denver will say, well, we need to manage our assets, and our guys were going in restricted free agency, and we got to pick, and, we thought we'd help out. Part of it was Denver wanted Capella out of the West because he gave them so many problems. And now, if the Rockets, with this small ball approach, Jokic is the one player in the West that will absolutely hammer that mismatch. He will score in the post over and over and over again. The Rockets are going to be really good defensively because Covington and Tucker, they're playing their wings like linebackers, and that's going to help. They're still going to be better defensively, but they are going to be more vulnerable, I think, to upset, and that's the drawback of what they did.
Matt, what's your feeling on what is going on in Philadelphia? Do you believe they can get it figured out, or do you believe there is some issue there that maybe they'll have to address with this roster?
To me, it all just comes down to Embiid. Last night, Embiid decides he's going to be the best player on the planet, and they come back, from giving him a 44-10 run, and they beat the Nets without Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Right.
Congratulations in overtime. Great job by you.
And then he declares himself the best player in the world.
And they declares him the best player in the world. This is the problem though. Is in any playoff series, Embiid could do this, but he just doesn't. He just doesn't. I looked at this. Embiid is in the top 15 for most mid-range shot attempts. Does that make any sense to anybody?
No.
Does that make any sense to anyone that he would be taking that many mid-range shots versus when he decides oh no, I'm just going to go in the post and I'm going to dominate. I am not a guy I'm analytics forward. I'm not a guy that's oh, you need to post the player and you got to be able to play in the post. A lot of teams don't. But if you have Joel Embiid, you should.
Yes.
So it's maddening to me. I think the Sixers will remain dangerous, but I also think that their chemistry has not been good all season. I don't think this team necessarily fits together. I don't think they necessarily like playing together. And I think it's hard to make a run with all of that, especially when I do not believe that Embiid in the end will be consistent enough to carry them the way that he has to.
Is Toronto getting enough attention for what it's doing? I mean, they're 40-15 after losing Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I think they are now. I think they're getting a lot of national publicity right now as everyone goes like, man, like the Raptors are 40-15. This is crazy. I think a lot of it is there's skepticism from a lot of folks about what they can do in the playoffs because so much of the playoffs is defined by what your best player is. And with the Raptors, Pascal Siakam, I thought was playing like an MVP candidate for the first month of the season, but then he went back to just being like really good. He's great. He's awesome. Like Pascal Siakam's awesome. And they have a formula that can definitely beat the Bucks if they hit shots and the Bucks don't. Like if the Bucks have a cold shooting streak and Fred VanVleet turns into Steph Curry again, then the Raptors can beat the Bucks again. And so I can't say the Raptors can't make the finals, but I don't think they can win the title with their current construction. But it is like a real credit, I think, to Nick Nurse, the development staff. Like they have guys like Terrence Davis who just come out of nowhere and are good. They have such a good pipeline to the G League. Kyle Lowry continues to be just great. Like he's just great this many years into his career. They have lots of versatility. They have lots of options. They're extremely disciplined. They're a really good team. I just don't know how much I can believe they can win the title.
Is Cleveland giving the Knicks a challenge for most dysfunctional? The Beeline thing was a disaster. I mean, an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it really was. I think a lot of it is they manage to always miss on so many levels. These franchises like this, like they have bad coaches, and then that would be okay if they drafted the right guys, but they don't draft the right guys. And so they have bad players with bad coaches. And then they have opportunities. Like I was screaming for them to trade Kevin Love years ago because I was just like, this is going to go bad. Like, it's okay. You won a title. Your best player of all time left. Like, it's okay. Just rebuild. Just get as many assets. Nope. We're going to try and win. And I'm just like, okay, this is not going to be. And here we are. Like, here we are again with the Cavs. A lot of this is, I also think, is ownership. Dan Gilbert suffered a stroke, and he's been obviously he can't be blamed for this during his recovery. But I do think that like the Knicks, both teams suffer from they've never had the kind of vision, big picture, and they've always had too much interference in their organizations to be successful. And that's like one of the big keys is you have to make sure that that everybody in the front office, coaching, everybody above the locker room, that everybody's on the same page to make the best decisions. And that goes a long way.
He is Matt Moore, covers the NBA for the Action Network. You can follow him on Twitter at MattMooreTAN and at HP Basketball. Matt, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
The dysfunctional rankings.
See that? I mean, what he's talking about, what they're doing with Kevin Love is, the Grizzlies were getting that position with Mark Gasol and Mike Conley. Like at some point, you just got to say, like, what are we trying to do with these guys?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is Kevin Love getting us if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers by being on our team? What purpose is he serving? Whereas if you trade him, at least you get something out of him because you're clearly all about the future now. And Kevin Love's not a part of your future as to when you're going to actually have a chance to be good again.
Well, I can guarantee Andre Drummond doesn't want to be part of their future. And he's sitting there in Cleveland. Look, it's bad enough in Detroit, but Cleveland's really bad. The Knicks are dysfunctional. There's some bad franchises in the NBA. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call my friend Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options to suit your budget, a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company. They will also work out of pocket. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners, property managers out there, if you have a problem with your roof, a leak, any other issue, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. There's a 5-year labor warranty on all roofs, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. Don't forget the $100 referral fee for all new roofs. You tell somebody about Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Look, if they end up hiring Pinnacle to do the work, you're going to pick up $100 from Pinnacle for that referral. They do carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. They can do it all. Your one-stop shop for all your home repair needs. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, locally owned and operated. Call Brandon McCullough, like I said. Tell him I sent you at 901-438-5084 or online at newroofmemphis.com. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM. You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 on social media.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
I mentioned earlier that Steve Sarkisian will remain with Nick Saban at Alabama, will be one of the highest paid coordinators in the country, but also news from Alabama yesterday. Butch Jones has taken on the role of special assistant to the head coach. So he's been with Nick Saban now for, a couple of years? And now he gets the title of special assistant to the head coach.
What does that job entail?
That's you go get the water for the coach. You bring him the water.
The garbage can.
The garbage can?
The turnover garbage can.
Is that the same can that they used, the Astros used? Did they get it from Tennessee and Butch?
I think that's where they got the idea to use a garbage can.
So this is, this is interesting. I was looking at this, let me see who wrote this thing, the SEC podcast, and we're getting ready for spring football. It's almost here. And so they're ranking the projected SEC starting quarterbacks next year. Some they're going to be the starters. Others are penciled in. And so this is the order that they rank them in. See, if you agree or disagree with the ones near the top. They got Kyle Trask, number 1. Think about this. We went into this past season.
I don't have a problem with that.
We went into this past season, though, with Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jake Fromm. Kyle Trask, number 1. Kellen Mond, 2. How about this? John Rice Plumlee, number 3. Number 3. Wasn't even thought about last year when Matt Corral,
I don't know about that
Matt Corral was the quarterback.
I mean, if the fact that you can put him 3 tells you what the current state of the quarterback position in the SEC is.
Right.
But that's a.
I mean, he was good. Don't get me wrong.
Guarantano has to be higher, right? I mean,
well, we'll get
no,
to top half.
Gosh, no, he's terrible.
We'll get.
I
to
would
him.
take
but
John
I mean,
Rice
compared
Plumlee
to
over him.
I
would take John Rice Plumlee. Guarantano is awful.
John Rice, what's he going to do with Lane? I'm not convinced he can throw the ball.
He may
at
not be the best
all.
quarterback on his team.
Yeah, right.
That.
How does Corral fit back in with Kiffin, who runs a different style offense? Now, what Plumlee did last year was pretty darn good, but he's number 3 on this list. Number 4, Bo Nix. Number 5 is the transfer from Wake Forest, Jamie Newman, for Georgia. Guess the jury's still out on him, but he had a good career at Wake.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely put him ahead of John Rice Plumlee.
Yeah, Nix too, probably.
Yeah, I think I would. I would
Nix
put
and
both of them
Newman
ahead
for
of John
sure.
Rice Plumlee.
Okay, Jarrett Garantano is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ahead of, we'll debate this thing. Mac Jones is now 7th.
See,
And he may not even win the job. It could be to his little brother, but
I don't see why you would have Mac Jones that low. Mac Jones to me is definitely better than Garantano.
Here's
he
an
stepped in there and played pretty well.
Yes, he did. Here's an
granted, they
interesting
have
one.
great receivers. He's got great talent, all that stuff around him. But Garantano, I'm telling you, is awful. He's just bad.
How about this one? KJ Costello, the Stanford transfer for Mississippi State for Leach's offense, number 8. Put up huge numbers in the Pac-12. Miles Brennan, the heir apparent to Burrow, waiting around at LSU, number 9. South Carolina's Ryan Helinski, who has some experience now in the SEC, number 10. Guess who's back at Kentucky? Terry Wilson's back. They got him at number 11. Felipe Franks takes over at Arkansas. Again, some of these, we'll see if they end up winning the starting job, but he's the transfer that came from Florida. Sam Pittman's guy, number 12. Sean Robinson, never heard of him, Missouri, 13. And then another guy I never heard of for Vanderbilt, Danny Clark. Danny? Number 14.
So, now, the interesting part about that is that, to me, where is Felipe Franks? 12?
Felipe Franks is 12.
I feel like Felipe and Guarantano are in the same boat, where they have the tools, but they just have not been very good.
So according to them, last year, Dan Mullen chose to start the 12th best quarterback over the best quarterback.
Yes. And because the best quarterback got hurt, in his mind, that's the only reason why we saw the emergence of Kyle Trask. Correct? He got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Franks. That gave Trask the chance, and then Trask took over, and the writing was on the wall for Felipe. Remember, Felipe was like, well, maybe the NFL draft, or maybe I'll just transfer.
That, to me,
transferred.
Listen, John Rice Plumlee did some nice things. That's way too high to have John Rice Plumlee on that list. I can't.
Didn't throw the ball at all.
Yeah,
I mean, at all.
And some of the guys that are behind Garantano, I just don't get how you'd put them behind Garantano.
What do you guys think of Kellen Mond? Big physical guy.
I like him, but I think he's overrated. I think last year everybody thought he was going to be like maybe the best quarterback last year in the SEC other than like Tua. And he just, I don't know, every time I watch him play, I'm always left thinking he just doesn't, he could do a lot more. I feel like he could do a lot more.
I'm with you 100%.
Between Mon, Guarantano, and Felipe Franks, there's a lot of guys that are probably going to start in the SEC next year that, have the tools, the raw ability, but just above the neck just have not produced.
Mon will make a throw in a game, and I go, oh my, wow. And then he'll make another throw, and I go,
he has the physical tools.
What was that? Or he'll break off a run, and she'll show his speed and everything else. You're like, man, oh man, this guy's got it all. But then he just you get done, you're like, but he really wasn't that good. Like, he made some great plays, but in the overall, he just isn't that good.
And with Garantano, he was a guy who did he did so many startlingly bad, is that a word, things on the field. He came back a little bit at the end of the year and made some plays, but he struggled more than he was solid as a quarterback. Let me ask you this. Mac Jones is number 7 on their list. If Mac Jones at the end of the season is the 7th best quarterback in this group of SEC quarterbacks, can Alabama still get to the playoff? They weren't there this year.
No.
Can they get to the playoff with him being number 7 with this crop of quarterbacks in the SEC? There's no way, right? Right, Gabe?
I
mean, he's got to do something,
I mean, like,
right? They're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense.
Yeah, they're losing. I mean, wide receiver-wise.
They're going to need
who stayed even? Like, Ruggs is gone. Judy's going to be gone.
Devontae Smith's can't come back. And the other one, what's the other? The Waddle.
Waddle.
Yeah, he's back, right?
Yeah, they still got. Yeah, they got a couple
and
of those
I'm sure
guys
they've
back.
got some others.
Yeah, but compared to last year, I mean, Mac Jones
last year. But Mac Jones is going to have to be good for them to make the playoff.
Right, he's going to have to be good. They'll run the ball again. They'll play defense. They'll do Alabama things, but he's still going to have to make some plays.
If John Rice Plumlee's better than Mac Jones this year, Alabama is not going to the playoff.
Right.
If Garantano is better than Mac Jones, they're not going to the playoff. I mean, he's going to have to be better than those guys. I will be interested, though, to see, like, at SEC Media Days, you brought that up, like, with the voting, like, who will be the all-conference – because they do 3 teams, I think.
They do 3 teams.
Like, what will be first, second, third team quarterbacks? Because that's a rough group to sort through.
So Garantano with you clearly feel strongly about it.
He's terrible.
Do you hate his decision making? Because that's the one thing about him where it's like you.
He throws the ball right to the defense way too often. Like it's like he makes throws. You're like, how in the world does he not see the defender standing there?
And also in the Bama game, that really turned me off of him when he did the QB sneak with the fumble and they took it back 99 yards.
I have no faith whatsoever in him being able to make the play. Like,
not consistently. Not consistent. No way. Like, he hasn't been consistent his whole career.
He never makes the Kellen Mond throw where I go, wow. Like, he just makes the ones I go, ugh, what's that? What are you doing? Why do you keep doing that?
You've been to SEC Media Days, and the media are the ones that vote for this. They are more willing, I think, to take a leap of faith with a quarterback. In other words, I wouldn't be shocked to see a KJ Costello in the top 3. Not number 1, but maybe like a number 3, assuming that like their thought process is Leach, he'll have that offense clicking. Costello had good numbers at Stanford. He'll have bigger numbers at State under his system.
I believe Kellen Mond will be the first team.
I do too.
And I think Trask will probably be second team.
That's what I
wonder who they would go third team. Maybe it would be Costello.
It could be Bo Nix.
It might be Mac Jones just because they'll say, listen, he's Alabama. Like,
and there's more Alabama voters anyway, right? For more media members.
He's an Alabama quarterback. Like, and he's probably going to be good because Alabama's really good.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll be Kellen Mond. Well, Kyle Trask. If Kyle Trask is the best quarterback in the SEC next season, and Jamie Newman is solid but not spectacular for Georgia, does Florida win the East? This is before us dissecting the schedule and all that stuff, but just looking at the importance of the quarterbacks.
But Georgia's, I mean, if Newman's solid at all, I think Georgia's going to win the East. He's probably, and that's probably disrespectful for him on that list too. Like, he should definitely be higher. I mean, he had a pretty good career at a place where there's not a whole lot to work with.
I was say, if you watched him at Wake Forest, he can
throw the ball,
throw that thing.
He can throw the ball. All right, before we take a timeout, and we have Matt Dillon coming in at 12 o'clock to talk Tiger basketball. Huge one tomorrow against the Cougars. I retweeted this story yesterday, and I made sure I tagged Gabe Kuhn on it for obvious reasons. Gabe's a big, strong guy, and so is Bradley Bozeman. He plays offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens. So he took on a food challenge at a Texas steakhouse on Wednesday night, and he crushed it. Bozeman is a 317-pound lineman, Gabe, what are you tipping the scales at today? You're looking slim.
I'm somewhere around like 290.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
He participated in the challenge at the Big Texans Steak Ranch in Amarillo. The challenge included eating a 72-ounce steak, shrimp cocktail, baked potato, salad, and a buttered roll in under an hour. Bozeman completed the mission with 10 minutes to spare, received a free T-shirt from the event, which read, "I ate it all," and had a big smile on his face. I don't see any bucket near him where he was, bringing up some of the memories, if you will. So he trashed this thing. He crushed it.
What angered me is they had a shrimp cocktail to this thing. It's a 72-ounce steak. Just let him eat the thing, and that's the challenge.
I watched.
That's it.
I watched.
If the steak isn't enough by itself. Now I got to throw something in there with it.
A baked potato. You know how filling a baked potato.
Anybody can eat
okay,
that
steak, baked potato, buttered roll, salad. Okay, the shrimp cocktail is just.
No, they threw in a shrimp cocktail.
They needed some surf. They didn't want
surf and turf
just the turf. They wanted some surf with that.
So last night I was watching. I was flipping the channels and I saw Man vs. Food. I think it might have been 2 nights ago. And they got the new guy, Casey, right? He's a big boy. And so he had it wasn't at this place, but he had also a 72-ounce steak challenge. And it included a salad. But there wasn't shrimp cocktail. There were potatoes, not a baked potato, but there were potatoes. So he had to do that. He's eating the steak. They say, eat the salad just to do something different for your stomach. So he eats the salad, eats the potatoes, goes back to the steak. He wasn't 3/4 through that steak and time ran out. And he was done. He was finished. This guy plummeted through that with also the shrimp cocktail, the baked potato, the salad, the buttered roll, and 72 ounces worth of meat, and had 10 minutes to spare. So I brought up, well, what about Gabe? Because it was a while ago when C.J. Hurt, who you now hear from 7 to 10, Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and C.J., and he was our producer. And Eli and I talked to him about the Kooky Canuck and the Cucamonga Burger Challenge. And CJ talked a big game. And then he weaseled his way out because he didn't want the bun. I go, come, just the meat? I know that's still a lot, but no, it's the bun. It's everything that's included in the challenge.
What did he think? What?
He thought
you thought you could just eat the meat and no bun?
CJ was never going to do it.
Yeah,
it was just talk.
It was talk. So I brought up.
It was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then Sue's like, you're like, really? I'm like, no, I'm not going to. No, no chance.
So I ran into Sean Danko yesterday in an event. Of course, the owner of the Kooky Canuck. There's 2 of them. And I said, you remember Gabe Kuhn? Yeah. Offensive lineman. He's our producer now. I go, I wonder if he'd want to do the Cucamonga Burger Challenge. And Sean was like, okay, yeah, see what he wants to do. So I tweeted this last night and made sure I tagged Kooky Canuck and Gabe. And now it seems like it's something that's getting close because, Gabe, you want to take it on.
My response to you was, if you're paying for it, I'll give it a try. That's it. I'll give it a try, okay? I've in my
Have you ever
life,
seen one of those?
They're ridiculous.
Dude, it's insane.
How many pounds?
I'd have to cut it into 4, no doubt.
I remember
how many pounds?
The first time I was
7.5. I looked it up last night.
I remember the first time I was ever in one of the Kooky Canucks. I was downtown, and they came walking through with one of those things, and I was just like,
feeding a family
what
of
in the
7.
world is that thing? Like goodness
I love the
gracious.
little tiny pickle that's on top that's like toothpick dip.
You have to finish the pickles, right?
I'm sure you got to finish everything.
So when I was in, where was I in? I was in Tucson, Arizona. They have this place over by the university where they have these big monster burgers. There was a little challenge. This was when I was like, 14. And they had like a 4-pound burger and a whole plate of fries. And I knocked that out with room to spare. I don't know. Look,
that's what you said.
It depends on the time limit here. It depends on the time limit. If
does
it's
it
30
say
minutes,
Does
no
it say
chance. There's no chance in 30
What
minutes.
were you tipping the scales at 14?
Oh, gosh, like 220?
So you got done with that? That's what you said. You guys have any shrimp I could eat with this?
I stole fries off my brother and dad's plate.
No, that is just rude. You do this thing and then you're stealing fries from
Greedy,
your brother.
just greedy as hell.
Check out if you could find the time. If not, I'll contact Sean and find out what the time is.
If it's 30 minutes, I don't know, man. I can do. I'll try an hour.
I think it's an hour, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't imagine
7.5 pounds in 30
I'm
minutes.
Sure, I think
tough.
it's an hour. Somebody said,
but anyway, if it is an hour, you're up for it. I'll get with Sean. We're going to do it. We're going to live stream it. We're going to have it live on the radio. So we're going to give updates. We'll do some commentary, and we'll see what Mr. Coon can do with that 7.5 pounder, the Cucamonga burger.
I'm gonna have to watch some videos to see how you can stretch your stomach out.
Are you going to do some training for this? How do you train for this?
I don't know. Check those guys out on YouTube who do all these food challenges.
Find out. Google a way. We had him on the show before, Joey Chestnut. Let's see if we can get Joey Chestnut on before you do this, and he can give you some tips. The great eater.
Well, I will not be dipping my buns in water.
His
I
tip
promise
is going to be but he's not. His is more. You don't have to eat it that fast, so you don't have to dip it in water. You don't have to get it to go down that quickly.
It'll be a little surprising when you're trying to not chug down, but trying to pour down 7.5 pounds of meat that the hour will go pretty quickly. It won't be 5 minutes.
So it says Marshall's Steakhouse has the same 72-ounce steak challenge, including shrimp. Someone else says it's sirloin too, so it's not even good steak. Yeah, that's the problem. You give me a 72-ounce ribeye, I might be able to get because I might figure out a way to get.
That's what it was, right? Last night for the guy for the Ravens.
72-ounce steak, a baked potato, shrimp cocktail, a buttered roll, and a salad.
Are you kidding me?
That's eating. That's impressive.
That's a lot of food.
That's good stuff.
I'd have to sleep for 3 days afterwards. It would put me into a coma, man. I'd just be like, oh God. Just roll me over and leave me alone for about 3 days. I'll let you know when I'm alive again.
I could eat 2 quarter pounders with cheese in one sitting. So we're talking about a half a pound. I can't eat. There's
baby numbers. Those are baby numbers.
I'm telling you, I can't. There's no way I can eat volume. The problem with me and my stomach is that I eat a lot of different times and a lot of crap food. But at one sitting, I get full real quick. There's no way I could do. I probably could do maybe force myself to get a 3/4 pound burger. That's about it. If you could do something like this, man.
I can eat a good amount, but I can't eat
a
that
pound
stuff.
burger is simple. That's easy money right
there. I don't know. Maybe I've done that before, but I'm telling you, 7.5 pounds.
There was when I lived in Iowa, there was a restaurant there that I don't remember how big their burger was. I want to say it was a pound. I used to get that for lunch and eat that with fries. And that was
you'll be full, but it's not
it was
crazy.
It wasn't like where I was like, oh my God, I got to go home and pass out now. I was like, it was
lunch.
Yeah, it was lunch. It was lunch. I mean, and it was one of those things the times I'd be like, I could actually eat a little bit more. I need some more fries. You start stealing the fries off other people's plates. But I remember the bun I was getting it because just the bun was so small and that burger was just funny to look at. You would eat for you take 10 bites and then you finally get to the bun.
Man. I'm disappointed in CJ saying, "Oh well, you got to leave out the bread." What? It's a burger.
Well, that was
exactly.
He was just going to find any excuse to say that's why he wasn't going to do it. He was never a threat to do it whatsoever. At that time he wasn't even eating meat. He was sitting there and eat carrots for the entire show.
Yeah, that's right. He was eating vegetables.
He never even ate meat. Now all of a sudden he's going to talk like he's going to eat a 7-pound burger all of a sudden. His stomach could have handled that.
Yeah, and then Sean would bring it in. He would go, "Is that a veggie burger?" He'd look at him and go, "What?"
Yeah, is it the Impossible? Do they have the
Black
Impossible?
Black bean.
Have you tried the Impossible Whopper yet?
No, I probably won't.
Give me meat, buddy. I don't want no Impossible burger, no plant.
If they didn't
burger.
tell you probably wouldn't even know.
Probably wouldn't. All right, when we come back, big fight tomorrow night. It'll be on at the Gold Strike. We'll talk to Art Hoyne about that from the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill.
Do you watch Modern Family?
I've seen it.
This past week they were in. Just remember me because they were in this place called Spuds, or so it was everything was potato. And he said, I mean, if you're going to advertise the Impossible potato made out of meat, then you should have enough for everybody.
This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Play it loud.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak. Yum! Fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
Hey everybody, love is in the air and no one loves their customers more than our friends at All Star Chevrolet. And if you want to be in love with a new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you want to be. All the deals you love are at All Star Chevrolet. Like the new 2020 Silverados with 0 for 72 plus thousands in customer cash. How about 0 for 72 with a new 2020 Equinox plus thousands in cash when you finance with GM. And Chevy keeps getting the awards. And the awards mean a lot, people. Like the new Corvette Stingray 2020 North American Car of the Year arriving soon, so stay tuned. And everybody at All-Star Chevy has one job to make sure you get a better deal that's more fun and in record time. Remember, not the Pike, not Mount Moriah, not South Haven, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. So if you could love a new Chevy right now, maybe a new Silverado or an Equinox, head to Olive Branch and drive what you want today. Drive them all. Just find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com today.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
That it is the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue. It's located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort, and it's going to be another great weekend to go down there and bet on sporting events and the big fight that'll be shown at the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill tomorrow night. To talk more about that, our friend Art Hoyne joins us from the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Art, how are you?
Good, Greg. How y'all doing today?
We're doing fantastic. So this is it's been a long time since we've seen a heavyweight fight, a title fight as anticipated as this one. This will be the second for Wilder and Fury. The first one ended in a draw, and you're going to have that on all the big screens at the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill. Tell everybody about it.
We're going to have it on TV tomorrow night. We'll have it on all the big screens, on the audio. It will be it's free of charge. There's no cover. There's no food and beverage minimum. So come on down. It will be limited seating. Just once the room fills up, we'll have to block it off. But we're looking for a great time tomorrow night with it.
What are the odds right now for that fight?
I hadn't looked at it since yesterday. I want to say Fury is what, plus 150?
Fury is plus 150. Yeah. And are you seeing the numbers go that way? What are you seeing so far?
Most of our money's been on Fury so far. I think they're looking for him to knock him out.
What else is happening down at the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill? I know you guys are getting getting ready. It's several weeks away, but before too long, March Madness will be upon us.
It's right around the corner. You can call down now and reserve a table. We're reserving tables for Thursday and Friday morning sessions and evening sessions, or you can reserve tables for the whole day.
Oh wow! So it'll be that crazy as far as people wanting to be down there. So they need to reserve. What's that number they need to call?
662-357-1111, and just ask for the money line, and they can set you up. You know, along with like we did with Super Bowl, we'll have multiple viewing areas that will be general regular seating, no reserve, in the Pickle and Jam restaurant, and along with in the Millennium Bar upstairs. So there'll be plenty of seating and TVs all around.
What was it last year? I was down there for one of these sessions. What was it like? What did you anticipate last year? And then what was it when it was all said and done as far as the crowds, the handle, and things of that nature?
You know, last year was our first one, and I had been told, you know, it's like 4 days of the Super Bowl, and they weren't lying. We expected big crowds. The crowds were actually bigger than I thought. It was 4 days of just, jam-packed people, games all day long. It's a lot of fun. It's my favorite 4 days of the year.
I know we've talked to you in the past where you mentioned in 2020 they were going to be adding more kiosks at Gold Strike Casino Resort, and these are folks, if you don't know this, they have kiosks all around the venue, so you don't have to just make the bets there at the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill. You can go to these kiosks and also bet. You were going to add some more. Have you gotten to that yet?
I did. We started with 10. I'm up to 12 now, and I've got 3 more going in that we'll have in for sure before March Madness.
And I would imagine
so we'll have 15 going.
15 kiosks, and along with the actual book itself. And I would imagine for those that are going to go down there for the NCAA tournament or maybe even for the fight, and they want to go to the kiosks. Kiosks are pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory how to lay a bet down.
They're very self-explanatory. You know, a lot of people when we first got them, they were kind of scared by them, but once they used it one time, they go to them all the time now. They're very simple. They're very easy to use. And very friendly. We've actually got 2 of them upstairs in our non-smoking area, which the non-smokers seem to love. So we've got them around for everybody.
And for those who don't know, the Top Golf Swing Suite, they have one also inside the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill. That's also a very popular thing to do while you're watching games, eating great food, enjoying cocktails, great service. It's the Gold Strike Casino Resort in Tunica, Mississippi, and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill. And it's going to be hopping tomorrow night. Do you have a pick for the fight, Art?
I think I like Fury. I think it goes the distance, but I do like Fury tomorrow night.
Art, listen, have a great weekend. Go ahead. Finish up.
No, that was it. I think he's going to knock him out this time.
Wow, Fury in a knockout. Usually
toward the end, but I think it's going to be a good fight.
Wow. Listen, Art, as always, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Art. Wow, he picks Fury with a knockout win. Gabe, did you hear that one? Art picked Fury for a knockout win. I would go Wilder if there was going to be any knockout. I would go Deontay Wilder.
Fury does he punch hard enough to knock Wilder out?
I don't think so.
See it. He knocked him down in the first fight.
Right.
They both knocked each other down in the first fight, but I cannot see Fury knocking him all the way out.
See, I think Art's anticipation was he was going to tire him and then get him in the end.
I don't know anything about either one of the two guys. Fury's big enough; he can't knock people out. That dude's huge.
He is a technical striker. He's a very technical boxer, whereas Wilder's not. But Wilder can punch.
I just know the guy's huge.
Wilder lets go of his hands.
My analysis is they're both really big guys.
Do you remember Wilder at? He was walking through Radio Row one of the Super Bowls. And I'm not sure if that was Atlanta where I was with you or it was one that you were at. I wasn't at, but Wilder was at in the last several years.
I remember seeing him, yes.
I mean, he is humongous.
I think the bizarre thing is, you're right. Fury is 6'9", 260.
Right.
He should have power behind his punches.
I just assumed that's what he did is he knocked people out.
No.
I just see the guy's massive.
I mean, he has knocked people out.
I just thought that's what he probably did was he was just he killed people but couldn't go the distance because it would be too much for him and he would wear out.
No, he's more of a tactician. I mean, he's a really skilled fighter. Not that Wilder isn't, but Wilder's from, I want to say, is he from Alabama? Deontay Wilder?
I believe so, yes.
I think he's from Alabama, but again, it has been a long time in the making for now they fought the first time, there was anticipation, but I think now that they had a draw, both had knockdowns, I think, and people are dying to have a good heavyweight boxing championship fight that they have
It's
not had in
been
a long time.
long time.
It really has.
In boxing has been in the dumps for a long time, too.
I remember when I was doing a lot of boxing, and right before I started to do the blow-by-blow, it was the heyday of boxing. And, of course, the 70s was unbelievable to watch all those great heavyweights. But into the 80s, and then Holmes, and then you finally got into Tyson. And I started covering Tyson when I was back in Maryland. But it has been a long time coming. So hopefully it'll be a great fight tomorrow night. All right, when we come back, Matt Dillon will join us. Tigers, they survived. They beat East Carolina on Wednesday. But now they are in must-win mode against a really good team, Houston. And they got to finish incredibly well to have a shot at this thing. Other than that, it's all about the conference tournament championship. We'll talk to Matt about that. And then we'll have 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich.
John, we first got a taste of it at the golf tournament.
It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. As I've mentioned before, my grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and that's the same slaw he used. So here we are now 103 years later, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak, yum, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:02 the time. Final hour for us today and this week here on Sports 56 Middays. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Make the most out of your e-commerce experience by finding insights and inspiration from other small business owners. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Before we bring Matt on, correction. Wilder was not knocked down in that fight, the first go-around with Fury. Fury was knocked down. It was not
in the 12th round.
Right.
Wilder knocked down Fury.
Yeah, somebody texted and said Wilder had never been knocked down before. I don't. So.
Hey, he's a chiseled monster of a man. Fury's a huge man, but he's got a little flab. He's not fat, but he's not Wilder. Wilder
43 fights, no knockdowns. I don't know if that's a fact, but I mean he hasn't lost. So.
Also from the Grizzlies, we were talking earlier with Matt Moore and about the chances for the postseason. This is according to ESPN BPI. Percentage chance of getting the 8th seed, the Trailblazers 41%, the Grizzlies 23%. Blazers right now trail by 3.5 games, but have a higher percentage by far to make it over the Grizzlies. The Pelicans 18%, the Spurs 16%. Time now for Matt Dillon.
It's time to talk Tiger hoops. It's the Tiger Basketball Report with Matt Dillon of the Tiger Radio Network. The Tiger Basketball Report is brought to you by Neil's Bar and Grill, Binswanger Glass, Getaway Sports Bar, Big River Distilling Company, and Central Barbecue. Here are Greg, Eli, and Matt.
The man with the plan, Matt Dillon, joining us in the studio. Tiger Basketball Report. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Big Blue Matt. Boy, I'm so happy that the Tigers took care of business on Wednesday, Matt, because of two reasons. One, this would be kind of a depressing conversation if they had lost that game to East Carolina after leading by double digits. But also now, coming off the win, breaking the losing streak, the anticipation for tomorrow's big game against Houston. So they did a lot of good things, I thought, Wednesday night. East Carolina, give them credit. They made some plays. They got back into the game. But in the end, Boogie Ellis was terrific, I thought, in that game. And, Precious did his thing.
Two guys actually saved him the other night, to be honest with you. They both came through. I think the two guard position's probably settled now with Boogie. He looks like he's back in rhythm now and playing good basketball. Precious, certainly you pencil it in. You put money in the bank and draw interest on him every time. So,
right.
Yeah, I have to say, and Coach Hardaway probably wouldn't say this, obviously, but I'm probably looking ahead a little bit for that game against Houston. They're thinking about it. These programs really don't like each other very much. The game last year was very intense. Both times they played, the first one in Houston kind of got out of hand. And, boy, and then that game in the tournament, remember, Houston had that big lead, and the Tigers came back right at the end, had 3 chances. Martin missed a shot, coupled by Harris as well, right before the buzzer. And the Tigers actually had a chance to tie that game, send it into overtime. And that would have been – think about that. If they maybe had won that game and gone ahead and won the tournament at home – could have been the NCAA tournament. That's how big a moment that was last year for this basketball team. I'm certain some of these guys will remember it that were there. There's not many left that were there, but a few will remember it. And I hope they will talk to this team about it. This Houston basketball team, I tell you, they're very athletic. And I think they're a year away from being really good. I mean, they're good this year, but they got everybody back almost next year. They've got one guy sitting out from Idaho. It's a real good player. They got another 4-star guy that they're getting ready to sign or have signed. So they've got some players coming in as well, and this team is loaded with some young talent. A guy that I remember last year, and you guys probably remember as well, Nate Hinton. I thought he's one of the better freshmen in our league last year. I'm thinking this guy's got 2 more years to be there. They're going to North Carolina and getting players. I don't know the connection. I know he went to North Carolina Pembroke. Sampson did, but there's some kind of pipeline recruiting in North Carolina. He's getting players down there at the University of Houston, so they got a new arena and everything's interesting. Hopefully get this game tomorrow. You got to play them again, obviously, the last regular season game, which is going to be very, very interesting indeed. But I like that they won the other night. If they had not pulled that game out, Greg and Eli, it would have been – I mean, you're talking about probably a spiral possibly happening, and that's what you averted.
You would have been in the situation then, like you were – the only thing that would matter would be the conference tournament at that point.
That would have written it off, absolutely.
It would be done at that point. Is looking at the Houston, the one thing that stands out is they are second in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage.
First in our league, you're right.
And that is something that is that Tigers have given up a lot of offensive rebounds. That's going to be huge.
It is, and I think when you look the other night, not a big amount of offensive rebounds by East Carolina, but they kept a couple alive that kept possessions alive for them. Connecticut did it in the second half. I thought they got a lot of offensive opportunities by crashing the boards a little bit. It's funny about this Houston team, they collective rebound. It's like they've got multiple guys that would go to the glass. And I think that's a reflection of Kelvin Sampson's teams. When you look at them, offensively they're a little bit challenged sometimes, although this year they're 4th in scoring in the league. But, man, they play hard and go to the glass. And that's the thing that you got to understand. You've got to be physical with this team on Saturday. That's very important. And at times this young team has lapsed into not doing that. And if you don't do that against Houston, look at their rebound margin, plus 9.7. Guys, that is a tremendous difference in rebounding over their opponents. And if you don't put bodies on these guys, boy, they're going to get some second chance points. And that's the thing that really worries me about this team. And you're going to find out Saturday. This team's going to dig down, speaking of the Tigers, and get some grit to them on Saturday, because Houston's going to come in here. Sampson's his teams play with a little bit of an edge anyway.
They do.
And he's kind of that way too. You know, he for a number of years, I think he had to work his way up, and it was a hard road for him. And, of course, the thing in Indiana happened and all that. I think he's got a little bit of edge on him as well. And that's not bad. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but I think his teams are a little bit of a reflection of how he is as well, and they really get after you.
I agree, Matt. We mentioned this earlier. You know this, Quentin Grimes, according to Coach, is doubtful with a hip injury. What type of a loss would that be for Houston if they don't have him?
Well, it is, but, you know, they got another guy step right back up. And you know, here's Mills the other night, gets 27 points. You know, they got Sasser, another guard. I mean, there's guards that they can move in there. Cedric Alley, he started last year for them. He's coming off the bench, so they've got talent they can move in there. He'll play 9 guys most of the time. They're not a team that, you know, that's got a bunch of guys hanging on the end of the bench. Most of them get to play in one situation or another. I do think their bigs are going to be a key to this thing. They don't score a tremendous amount, but they rebound and they get back on defense. They block shots. They got a tremendous shot blocker on this team as well inside, that 53 blocks on the year coming in. So they play as a team together. There's not a lot of egos, I don't think, on this team when you look at the University of Houston. It's kind of a collective situation for them. They've got some double-figure scores, but there's other guys that do other things, and they've accepted their roles. And I think you guys probably agree, all the games you guys have done, when you see a team that accepts their roles and they play together, it's really a pleasure to watch basketball teams like that. And that's the key to basketball. It's a team game. If everybody accepts their roles and plays, it's like a well-oiled machine, man. You go in there, and it's really not. And if you don't do that, there's little yips along the way, and you've seen a lot of teams that never get it together. And I think potentially that's why a lot of teams don't reach the goals they set at the start of the season.
It's like you look at them, there's not a real weakness that stands out to
them.
No,
it's not.
They're just pretty solid everywhere. Like they're 17th in offensive efficiency, 31st in defensive efficiency. Like where they rate low is in shooting percentages, but they get most of the rebound.
See, that's the thing. Rebound. You're right.
38.6% of offensive rebounds.
That's an incredible percentage.
An unbelievable number.
Oh, it is, no question. And you look at them, think about this. They're third in defensive rebounds, too, which means they don't give you a lot of chances on the other end. be able to do that. I think that's the real key to this thing as well. And they're not bashful about being physical. They're going to put bodies on you. They got some good size inside. Guys, Fabian White is a junior now. He's got experience. You've got guys in there that are able to do things for them. Harris is a big load, a guy that blocks shots and takes up space. I don't think they really worry about them scoring as much as them doing the little other things in their offense. And one thing about it, they got a lot of perimeter shooters on this basketball team. They'll shoot the three. You look at them on the year, 4th in the league in three-point field goal percentage, and they have multiple guys that will do that. They will go in transition. They'll go to the three-point line, and they play that way. They like to score quickly. I mean, they'll get the ball, kick it out, and they'll run. They'll try to get that three-pointer going if they can, and you have to rebound. That is one of the big keys to this basketball game. You make a great point, Eli. You look at their stats, they're pretty right in the middle or above on everything. Yeah. They're not, a glaring weakness. I guess the worst thing is assists, but that, is maybe kind of misleading as well because they don't turn the ball over very much. So those assist totals are low.
Their assists are missed shots.
Well, right. That tells you, it's nobody. They're getting offensive rebounds and they're scoring that way. That tells you why the assist total is not as high as well.
There's only 2 teams in the league that's above 500 away from home. The Tigers are 4-4. They're 500. Wichita State's 4-3. Houston 6-4. So they're not intimidated by places they go to on the road. And I would imagine there's a great chance for a sellout because it kind of feels like the last hurrah for the Tigers other than the conference tournament opportunity. They lose tomorrow, stick a fork in them, there's no chance at all. You rattle off 4 or 5, 5 straight games or 5 games left in the regular season. You win all 5 of those games, you're back in that solid picture for an at-large. But you lose tomorrow at home, you're done, except for the conference tournament. So I think it's going to be a great crowd, but Houston's not intimidated by playing away from home.
No, they're not, and they're a big team. I tell you, look, size-wise they're big, but they're a big team because of the way they play. I think this is a challenge that you're going to find out, I think, maybe how far this Tiger team has come. Houston's not, they've lost some games, surprisingly, in the league, but not a team, though, it seems like it bothers them. They'll lose a game, they'll come right back and start playing well again. Their schedule's not that difficult. Of course, they got the Tigers a second time around. I'm really glad you're playing them twice because if they came in here and happened to win, then you got the tiebreaker again. There's another guy, that, hey, this guy's team, they got the tiebreaker on us. It's like somebody, one-upping you in a situation where they have a tiebreaker on you in any sport, and that's exactly what Houston were able to do if they had one game, but they got them twice, so you got a chance. If you happen to lose, you can go down there and make the thing up. I don't think, the thing about Houston, and when you play them at the end of the year, they draw pretty well, but some of the crowds down there have been kind of sparse, which is surprising a little bit to me because the arena's not that big. Kind of similar to the Pavilion and size-wise, and being a little bit bigger. But they draw some of the crowds you look at. There's maybe 3,000 there.
Well, look, I
used
to do. It's been a while since I've been down there, but I used to.
Well, you and I did a game down there one time. We had to look around and count the people.
You got to go back to Phi Slamma Jamma before there. I mean, there's no crowds for these teams.
Because they're good.
They are.
And they've been now good for a few years.
They're
so
good, and
they
don't
get
support.
the support.
Yeah, drop. Look how far they dropped the arena size now.
Exactly. You would think, and it's a huge city with a lot of
sure.
people. So, what do you think the keys are to beating this team? What do the Tigers, the Grizzlies? What do the Tigers have to do tomorrow? Precious, like you said, you write it down. It's going to be a double-double for Precious, but other guys really have to step up to the plate.
Well, they do, and we were talking before I came on. I think Boogie Ellis now, the two-guard situation is kind of settled. He's back in a groove, shooting the ball, doing a lot of things as well. That other position, though, Lance Thomas, Isaiah Maurice, Malcolm Dandridge, somebody needs to play well against their front line. I think that's the key. Lance has struggled a little bit again. He scored some points the other night, but he struggled at times shooting the ball. If he can come back and at least give them a representative game on the glass and not get in foul trouble, I think that's going to be a plus. His length will be maybe something that will hurt Houston's guys, hopefully inside. His quickness will be able to do that. I think that position is really important. Obviously, rebounding and then turning the ball over, man. You can't turn the ball over against this team because what they do with live ball turnovers, they'll kick that ball out and they'll go into transition and they'll try to go in there and score. Now, Houston doesn't turn the ball over very much. If you can make them turn it over, and we'll see if the Tigers are able to do that. They've not turned it over much at all, and that's, again, a tribute to the guard play they have, these guys handling the ball the way they do.
The one thing that Houston does do that a lot is they will foul you and they will put you on the free throw line.
They do that.
Now that may be a bad thing for the Tigers.
Well, that's being aggressive.
Not necessarily a good thing, right, for Memphis.
Well, is it good or bad? I don't know. You're talking about 10th or 11th in the league. I mean, is it good or bad? I keep saying, man, this game they're going to get 10 out of 12 or whatever, and a half, and be 20, 24. But it just seems like they've not been able to do that recently.
Well, Precious is going to get fouled a lot, so he's like basically a 1-for-2 guy.
You're right. It's funny, but I don't know if you guys have noticed it. He doesn't shoot free throws the same way twice. It's weird. I mean, it's like one time it looks perfect, and the next time it's like off to the right. I don't know.
He's Mr. 1-for-2 from the free throw
he's
line.
He's 1-for-2.
But in the game against East Carolina down the stretch, again, I'd rather see Boogie with the basketball, personal preference, but Lomax has the ball, gets fouled a couple of times, misses the free. Now he's made free throws before.
Well, he was 8th in the league going to the game the other night.
Yeah, so he's made them. He's made them before. So you're playing the odds. Let him have the basketball. He had the basketball at the end of regulation against Cincinnati and had a shot blocked. And then here he misses 3 free throws, huge free throws, but the Tigers able to still prevail.
Exactly right. Didn't turn the ball over the other night, though. Had 4 assists. I was surprised he missed those free throws. That's unusual for him. He's a good free throw shooter. I don't mind him being on the line at the end, and I don't mind Boogie really being on. Boogie's actually a good free throw shooter. He started to come back.
Yes.
That percentage is going back up the other night. Had a good night, 3 or 4 from the line. I don't mind that at all. It's just some of the big guys are not shooting free throws very well for him, and I think – you got Dandridge who's way down there, and if you foul him, it's almost a victory sometimes for the other team. And you're going to see that at times, end of games. If he's in the game, they're going to foul him and say, hey, I'm going to make him hit free throws if
Matt,
they have the lead.
What do you think about – look, this is a really good defensive team. It's hard to argue with what that staff has put together with their play. They play hard. They play well. For the most part, there's been some games, the Tulsa game, where you wonder what's going on defensively. But most of the time, they are in the right place and they know what they're doing defensively. But against East Carolina, and again, East Carolina, give them credit. They stopped jacking the threes and were going to the hole. But there was a time, and he didn't play them together a lot last game, but the Harris-Lomax combo, when he puts them both in together, guys for East Carolina were shooting over Tyler. I don't understand that combo. I understand these guys playing at times, especially when Tyler's hitting shots. But I would pair him with one of the bigger guards because it seems like teams can shoot over those two.
Well, they can, but I think what happens, they come in and give you a lift. I think that's what they're looking for, especially – now, here's Tyler. Now, the other day, I mean, he struggled shooting the ball. Let's be honest. Sometimes he does struggle shooting the ball. But if he comes and gives you instant offense and a couple of threes, it kind of gets things juiced up in offensive loss. But that's a great point. And I thought the other day in Connecticut, they really, when they were in a game together, Connecticut's guards really took advantage of that situation because they're bigger. And those two guys actually is what decided the game up there. The two guards of Connecticut, they were able to, and Book Knight, man, is going to be a tremendous player. He is really good, and he got his second win in that final 20 minutes and really did that. But that's a great point. I think that's the question, Greg. Do you play them together and give up things on the defensive end for offense, or do you try to play them together? And I think he tries to keep them together because they're very similar players. They go around offense kind of creating havoc and try to get turnovers. And that's, I think, what the intent of the year really was, to put them in. Play the other guys first, play Damon Ball, and then play Boogie.
Right.
Bring those guys in, a different kind of look, start pressing, making it chaotic for the other team. And the press this year has been okay. I think at times, like Tulsa, that game up there, they destroyed it. I mean, they threw over and everything and got layups. And, at times they've turned people over, but sometimes they have not been able to do that. And if you can't do that with those two players that are small in there, that really puts pressure on the front line guys. And sometimes they've gotten in foul trouble because people start driving the ball or shooting it over the smaller players. But both of them play hard. I got to give them credit for that. I mean, you're talking about 5'9", 5'10". It's rough in Division I basketball to guard guys when you're at that.
Good, Eli.
Will Houston play zone?
Not much. They play predominantly. They'll show it at times. They have, but he's a man-to-man guy. I mean, he loves doing that. But because he's got multiple guys, and I think his probably thinking is to be aggressive like we like to be. I like to play man defense.
Physical, everything else.
He's got it in his arsenal, but he hasn't shown it. He doesn't play a tremendous amount of it.
You were talking about the press. I thought early on it was effective against East Carolina. Have they pressed a lot this year? I don't think they've pressed a lot, right?
Not really.
But they came out against East Carolina. I asked Penny during the post game, and he said there was something they saw that they could press, and they were pressing effectively. And then he said we started to go run right at the ball, and we got away from how we were supposed to press.
Jump some,
exactly. So, that was effective. But back to Harris and Lomax. When Harris has the stroke going, he has to be out there. But I would put alongside him I would put Boogie. I wouldn't put Lomax. When Tyler's not hitting shots, he shouldn't be out there at all because he's a defensive liability, just a quick sub and all that. So that's the way I would play.
Well, here's
personally.
what I think you ask yourself: what do you know about Boogie and shots? Now you got Harris in the game; he wants to shoot. If you got Ellis in there, he wants to shoot.
Boogie's the playmaker, and he gets it to Harris, as opposed to Boogie. In my opinion, Boogie has to have the basketball. We have seen Boogie play a lot better.
He creates with it, no question.
He creates. He can get to the hole. He's pretty strong. And then there's Tyler to kick it. To kick it to Tyler. Now Lomax comes in and does his thing, but not with Tyler. I don't like I think it's too small defensively. Now they're quick and all that, and they get some steals, and at times it has worked. But against some of these bigger, stronger teams with the guards, like you said, at Connecticut, Houston, I don't know about that combination. I like the bigger guard, not like they're giant. I mean, Quinones obviously is a big size wing, but the two small guys at 5'10" and 5'7".
Well, I think here's the question: does he hurt Ellis offensively when he's in the game? I think that's what you have to ask yourself.
Right.
That's a question you have to look
fair
down
question.
and see. You know, does he taking shots away from Boogie? And I like Boogie having the ball in his hands. I'll be honest with you, and he can do a lot of things with it. And I agree. But as you see going along during this year, and I think you guys have noticed it, when he starts hitting shots, Ellis's game elevates in other parts of it. You know, you'll see a definite difference in him because he got down on himself about the middle of the year. You know, things weren't going too good for him, and now he's starting to shoot the ball, and you see him defensively getting after guys. He gets a lot of steals.
He rebounds the ball pretty well.
He's got some length. I mean, he went in the other night and took a shot, man, hit the floor, went right up there, and kind of, you know, hey, I'm going to hit these free throws before I come out. And that showed me a lot when he was able to do that. I don't know if the first year he'd be able to do that.
He's starting to play like the guy they thought he could be.
Right.
Somebody texted and said, why do the Tigers try to make the home run pass on not clear fast break opportunities? Because they want that they want to run.
They want to kick it
But they're
down.
not a very good passing team in transition. They're one of the worst in transition turnovers in the country.
A lot of turnovers in transition because you have to make that first pass a lot of times, and you just throw it, and people – you know, they look at tape of you. They know what you're going to do, especially in conference play, man. They got tapes from you, I mean, for every game now. You know, it's funny because back when I was in school, you actually had coaches go out, and they'd physically scout people at other places. Now you don't have to worry about it. I mean, you can, well, obviously, but now, I mean, you'll see them at a tournament. They may sit there and write some stuff down. You don't need to. You get everything in the world right there. Just pop it in a machine or a computer and look at it. And certainly tomorrow, I believe the crowd, and you guys talking about the crowd, I think it's going to be very important to make it difficult for Houston to not get any kind of groove because if they get comfortable, they got some experienced players, and that's very hard to overcome. That the start will be, again, I think another thing that be important. Don't get down like you have in some games to them because they come in here and get a lead. They're even better, I think, because they are a sound, fundamental basketball team, and I do like the way they play. And look, I mean, the tournament's ahead. I think right now you got to play one at a time for the Tigers. Don't worry about that tournament. That's a whole other situation. You go down there. If you got to play 4 days, you got to play 4 days. If you don't, that's fine as well. But that bye would be certainly –
be nice
to get, but it's going to be difficult to do it. It really is. And SMU coming up is really going to be a big one as well after this.
Tiger Basketball Report brought to you by Central Barbecue with their 4 Memphis area locations. Big River Distilling Company with the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, both made right here in Memphis. Neil's Bar and Grill, in Yorkshire Square on Quince. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 3 a.m. Binswanger Glass on Hollywood, right across from the Liberty Bowl. Online at binswangerglass.com for all your glass needs. And Getaway Sports Bar at 4632 Winchester. They bring you the Tiger Basketball Report.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Should be exciting tomorrow, and I really hope this team comes in and plays well against Houston. It's like the old days, man. If I slam a jam and come in here, you kind of get psyched up a little bit. And these teams don't like each other. I'm serious. They were going to go at each other tomorrow. Should be very intense.
I think it'll be one of the better atmospheres we'll have all season long. We've had at FedEx Forum. I think it's going to be sold out, and the place is going to be rocking. Matt Dillon, Tiger Basketball Report. Make sure to follow Matt on Twitter at Big Blue Matt. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, our final half hour, some interesting news from the National Football League. Also 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. That's the next 30. That means there's open phone lines as well. On the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. Also, you can hit us up via text on the First Bank text line at 67129. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Watch out now. Man, what kind of way is that to start a promo? We want to tell the people about R&R on Sports every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Watch out now.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing. The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best-kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're around the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:30 is the time. We'll play 10 in a row in a few moments. If you want to talk about the Tigers and their battle with Houston tomorrow, are you heading over to FedEx Forum? I feel it's really the last hurrah other than the conference tournament. I think if you win this game, then who knows what happens the rest of the way. You're going to have to obviously be successful on the road, but they have a chance still to get back into that picture for the NCAA tournament at large spot if they can win 4 or 5 or 5 or 5, whatever it's going to take. But you got to start tomorrow. And then, if not, it's all about the conference tournament. I agree with Matt, what he said, that, it's coach speak with the take it one a game at a time, but I think he's absolutely right. You don't look ahead to the conference tournament and think that's the only way we're getting in, because they can still do some damage here, but Houston's going to be a big challenge. If you want to talk a little Grizzlies, we can do that as well. Grizzlies fall last night to the Kings, had the Lakers tonight. They're 11.5-point underdogs. I just feel, and I said it before yesterday, that it's an 0-4 trip. Doesn't mean I don't think they're a real good team. I just think this challenge is really, really big, going up against some of the elite teams in the NBA, and losing one last night to Sacramento, albeit on the road, was a tough loss. So we can discuss that as well.
If you had to guess, of these last 5 games for the Tigers, how many do you think they win?
Okay, I think they'll get revenge on SMU, and they'll beat Tulane. I do. I don't think SMU's that good. I really don't. I think they'll beat SMU and beat Tulane. I think they'll lose. They'll split with Houston, and they'll lose to Wichita State, even though it's at home. So I got them going 3-2. And that's being optimistic, I think.
If you look at KenPom, the only game he has them with better than 50% chance of winning is Tulane. He has about a 71% chance on that one. Wichita State he has as a toss-up, 50%. He has about 37% chance of winning tomorrow, 39% winning at SMU, and only 17% to win at Houston.
See, I think that's 39% at SMU. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about SMU. I watched them the other night play. Who did they play and lose to?
Well, they're not very good, but
no.
Have you seen the Tigers?
I know.
They lost to Tulane the other night.
But what I guess my point is,
They just barely beat East Carolina.
Yeah, I guess my point is this, that I would give them I don't right now. I wouldn't sit here and go, I guarantee you any games for the Tigers. I'm just making a prediction. But you said 39% at SMU because it's a roadie, and it was 50-50 with Wichita State.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would say they'd have even though it was home, harder time to beat Wichita State than they would SMU on the road. I just think SMU is not that good. That's just me.
This team on the road can.
Oh, I know. I know. I give more credence to Wichita State, and I know they've had some clunkers. I mean, basically the whole conference is at clunkers. So that's why I think it's absolutely wide open in Fort Worth in the conference tournament. But I'm trying to be a little optimistic here. Tomorrow, maybe they'll be able to play off that crowd. I really do believe it's going to be a great crowd tomorrow. Maybe they'll be able to play off that crowd if they can beat Houston. Then they got some momentum going on the road. They're feeling better about themselves. And he's starting to do the things that we've hoped that he would. Give Boogie the ball more. Let Boogie create a little bit more, which I think they've gotten, but they haven't really done. When he's been playing the two, primarily the two, with Ball at the point or with Lomax at the point, he's been standing around on the wing. Now, when he has the ball at times, he can create, as we talked about. He can get to the hole, get to the free throw line. He handles physicality pretty well. Quinones had a horrible game against East Carolina, but again, he's big and strong. I like those big, strong defenders. And on defense, he provides a lot. And then Harris, if Harris is hitting shots, he needs to be in the game. Another great point Matt made. Who's the other big that's going to step up? Well, we know it's not Maurice because he's not even playing unless there's an injury or a foul situation. So it's got to be either Thomas or Dandridge or a combination of the two to help Precious out. But it just shows you how damn good Precious Achiuwa is. He doesn't get a lot of help. He's being banged around by 2 and 3 guys at times, and he's still a double-double machine. That is a heck of a player right there.
Wichita State is at Cincinnati on Sunday. Will that game go overtime?
Oh, that's an overtime game.
Will Cincinnati ever play another game that doesn't go overtime?
The late George Lapis would say, no. They will never play.
It's just
the
weird,
streak will go on forever.
To have a streak early in the year of 3 straight overtime games and then have a streak now of 4 straight overtime games. Like the odds of that happening are so slim. Like it's crazy.
They are 4 and 3 in those overtime games. 7 overtime games.
Yep. 8 overtime periods because the last one went double overtime.
Wow. So switching gears here. NFL, yesterday we talked about the latest CBA. Well, yesterday afternoon, the NFL owners, this was announced that the NFL owners accepted the terms on the principal elements of the current CBA proposal. So now they await the players' vote. So the NFL owners and the players' representatives hash out this CBA proposal, right? So they both get together, representatives from both sides, on opposite sides of the table. They come to an agreement on the proposal. The NFL owners accept it. They voted in. I don't think it was unanimous, but they voted it in. Now comes word that the NFL Players Association Executive Committee that negotiated the deal with the NFL that currently is being presented to the union leadership, they voted it down. They voted against it. They voted against the deal 6-5. It doesn't matter what they did, but the players now have their players union executive board basically saying, yeah, we negotiated, but we voted it down. So now will the players follow suit and follow their leadership, or will they accept this? Because yesterday the word was that, no, it looks like the players will pass it. Then J.J. Watt came out. He was negative about it. So all of a sudden now the executive committee votes it down. I don't know, because maybe some other players spoke up, or how do you negotiate something, agree upon it, turn around, the one side votes it in, and then you don't vote it in?
Well, they may have went and talked to their player. I mean, they're
the player reps for the teams.
And
that's exactly what they did.
And they said, no, we don't like that.
That's
so
exactly what happened.
They said, all right, well, we'll vote it down.
So there's a good chance this thing does not get passed.
The owners didn't actually address any of the things that the players wanted. They just sort of did the smoke and mirrors thing and sort of distracted from the actual issues by doing the, rearranging the playoff format and the season format, and there wasn't the lifelong insurance. I learned yesterday after reading their fact sheet that they didn't have vision insurance. They didn't have vision insurance on their plan. Rookie contracts should be taken down from 4 years with a fifth-year option to 3 years with a fourth-year option or something to that nature. But they didn't address any of it, and I can see where the NFL Players Association is saying absolutely not.
Yeah, but how did they allow that CBA proposal to go through with all that not there, not included? I don't understand that.
It didn't get through.
The
owners voted it through. The owners, this is their initial offer.
No, this was a proposal that they both negotiated. And then now the owner said yes, and now the NFL Players Association Executive Committee said no. Those members of the NFL Players Executive Committee, or people that were on that board, it might not be all of them, sat down with the owners to negotiate this proposal. So their side also said, okay, all right, that's good. You go vote. We like it. We'll move on. As Eli said, I'm sure now, since then, they've gotten some bad intel.
Well, their thing is that we'll take that to our players, just like you'll take it to your owners. We'll take it to our players. Now that they may not.
Right, but usually you don't take something to the players that you don't feel is a square deal, right? You would keep negotiating. You would keep talking. You wouldn't want a proposal that didn't have a chance to make it. And what you just talked about, Gabe, to me, why would you pass that? I thought when I read yesterday, and I didn't read all the details like you did, I was just reading the general points that they were doing a lot more for the veteran players, players that have retired, benefits, things of that nature. So
they just put a life insurance and a vision insurance policy in.
Wow.
With this new deal, but all the other things that they asked for were not there.
That's surprising they didn't have vision insurance.
It's ridiculous.
That's
like I thought that as a given.
That's surprising. That one is definitely surprising, folks. If you are a golfer, and we're going to be getting the spring, will be here before we know it. Grass will be turning green. The golf weather is going to be getting here. You need to get on over to Edwin Watts to get all of your supplies. Check out the new clubs. They got new stuff coming in all the time. I'm telling you, I've been over there. I've hit the new Callaway driver, the Maverick. I've hit the new TaylorMade driver, the Sim, part of the Sim lineup that they have from TaylorMade. Man, oh man, I'm telling you, that TaylorMade one, that thing is hot now. And the Maverick is really, really good as well. But you could go check both of those out. You could hit them. You can hit all of the different clubs, all the new clubs, all the stuff they've got coming in there in the 3 hitting bays that they have in store. You can get fitted for clubs there in store. Maybe you need to get your clubs re-gripped before the new season. They can do that for you. Robert, my man over there, will take care of you, get those clubs re-gripped and ready to go for the new season. They got everything you need from the world of golf. And again, with the new stuff rolling checking in constantly this time of year. Go check it out at Edwin Watts at the new location, Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center. They're at Poplar and 240, Poplar Ridgeway area, next to the PetSmart. You got the Target, Best Buy, all that in that shopping center. They're right next to the PetSmart. New, bigger location. It's beautiful, and they've got all kinds of stuff in there for you to check out at Edwin Watts.
Pro Football Talk Mike Florio says that full union membership will be voting on the current CBA proposal regardless of the outcome of today's votes of the Executive Committee and the Board of Player Representatives. Today's votes are basically ceremonial. Interesting. All right, when we come back 10 in a row, you can jump on the phone lines right now at 360-8255. I don't believe it's that hard of a question today. 360-8255. 10 in a row is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallow and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak. Yum! Fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're around the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:47 is the time. Jump on the phone lines right now. We do have one open line at 360-8255 as we get set for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation 10 in a row. Great prize package as always. What do we got this week, Eli?
We've got a $25 gift certificate to East Coast Wings and Grill. Mentioned I was over there last night watching the Grizzlies game. You can always go watch the games there, enjoy all the action on the many TVs that they've got. But East Coast Wings and Grill, $25, as well as $25 to Sunrise Memphis.
All right, today's question I think is pretty easy, but you got to listen to me very carefully. Current NBA arenas. I will give you the full name of the arena. If it's an NBA arena that is being used in the NBA this year, it's a yes. If not, it's a no.
First up is Greg. Hello, Greg.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Hi, Greg. Current NBA arenas. The AT&T Center.
Yeah.
The Coca-Cola Arena.
No.
The Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Yeah.
The Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah.
The Prudential Center.
No.
The RCA Arena.
No.
The Chase Center.
Yeah.
The Aldi Arena.
No.
The Capital One Arena.
No.
Good run. Very good run. But just a little bit short. Reggie's next. Hey, Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Delta Center.
Yes.
360-8255. Next.
Michael is next. Hey, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Greg got you down to number 9. Let's see if you can finish it off. AT&T Center.
Yes.
Coca-Cola Arena.
No.
Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Yes.
Wells Fargo Center.
Yes.
Prudential Center.
Yes.
Ooh. Was listening, but not carefully. Next.
360-8255 is the phone number to play 10 in a row. Again, $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, $25 to Sunrise. Going to the winner. Andre is next. Hey, Andre.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Delta Center.
Yes.
360-8255. Who's next?
Next up. We have, who is?
Daiquiri. I think Daiquiri's up next.
What is that name?
Dreas.
Dreas. Okay. Dreas, what's up?
Hey, Dreas. How are you, man?
It's okay. Thank you.
Here we go. AT&T Center. Dreas, you there?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Good. It's a yes or a no answer. That's all we need. AT&T Center.
Yes.
Coca-Cola Arena.
No.
Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Yes.
Wells Fargo Center.
Yes.
Prudential Center.
No.
RCA Arena.
Yes.
360-8255. Current NBA arenas. Current NBA arenas.
Let's go to Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, what's up, man?
All right, list 2. Let's see if we can get past the first one. Delta Center.
No.
Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yes.
Pizza Hut Palace.
No.
Moda Center.
No.
360-8255. Next. I thought that we'd get this on the first or second.
We go from Jimmy to John. Makes me hungry for a sandwich.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Current NBA arenas. You ready, John?
Yes, sir.
AT&T Center.
Yes.
Coca-Cola Arena.
No.
Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Yes.
Wells Fargo Center.
Yes.
Prudential Center.
No.
RCA Arena.
No.
Chase Center.
Yes.
Aldi Arena.
Yes.
360-8255. Getting close on list 1, not even close at all on list 2.
Rodney's next. What's up, Rodney?
Rodney?
Hey, what's up?
Delta Center.
No.
Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yes.
Pizza Hut Palace.
No.
Moda Center.
Yes.
Amway Center.
Yes.
Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
No.
360-8255. Who's next?
Next is George. Hey, George.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
All right, George. Current NBA arenas, AT&T Center.
Yes.
Coca-Cola Arena.
No.
Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Yes.
Wells Fargo Center.
No.
Next.
Next is Doug. Hello, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, yeah.
Doing well, thanks. Delta Center.
No.
Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yes.
Pizza Hut Palace.
No.
Moda Center.
Yes.
Amway Center.
Yes.
Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Yes.
Golden One Center.
No.
Next up is Keith. Hey, Keith. Keith.
Hey.
Hey, Keith. Here we go. AT&T Center.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola Arena.
No.
Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Yeah.
Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah.
Prudential Center.
No.
RCA Arena.
No.
Chase Center.
Yeah.
Aldi Arena.
No.
Capital One Arena.
Yeah.
The MGM Center.
No.
Winner! You were nice, Eli.
Helped him.
Winner.
Good job, Keith.
Keith, congratulations, sir. You got $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, $25 to Sunrise coming your way.
All right, Eli, real quick, list 2. We left off at Golden One Center. Everybody should know that. They played there last night. The Grizzlies lost to the Kings. How about the Serta Sleeper Center?
No.
How about the Fiserv Forum?
Yes.
That's true. And the Madison Round Garden?
No.
That's no. You think that would have tricked somebody? I bet you it would have. All right, so real quick, you had the AT&T Center Spurs, Talking Stick Resort Arena Suns, Wells Fargo Center Sixers, Chase Center Warriors, Wizards Capital One Arena, Bankers Life Fieldhouse Pacers, Moda Center Trailblazers, Magic Amway Center, Cavs at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Golden One Center the Kings, and the Fiserv Forum the Bucks.
Did he hang up?
My man Keith hung up on me.
Keith, you need to call back, talk to Gabe, get your information so you can claim that prize. Time now for one final thing.
Give me a second.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Former Astros pitcher Mike Fiers says he has received death threats after he exposed Houston's 2017 sign-stealing scheme. Quote, whatever, I don't care. I've dealt with a lot of death threats before. It's just another thing on my plate. Fiers revealed to The Athletic in November that the Astros were stealing signs illegally using cameras during the 17 World Series championship season. I hope that anybody who will give somebody that type of, like a death threat. I hope that it's found out. I hope they're prosecuted. I don't even understand that. I mean, even if you're like the staunchest Astros fan, that is absolutely ridiculous. Good on Mike Fiers.
All right, we got to do our XFL picks. Here we go. Houston -6.5 at Tampa.
Easy money, Houston.
Houston.
I'm going Houston as well on that one. Dallas -4 at Seattle.
Ooh. Give me Seattle plus.
I'm going Seattle with the points.
I'll take, to be different, Dallas -4 on the road.
New York +10 at St. Louis.
Wow. They were shut out at D.C.
They have some locker room issues. Matt McGloin. Let me go with my hometown Battlehawks. Let's do it.
Yeah, you got to take St. Louis.
I'll take St. Louis.
I'm going to take New York in the 10. I'm going to bounce back
and
stay within 10. Yeah, that's a lot of points here. I feel like, so I'm going to go ahead and take. Them, and then we've got my boys from D.C. going cross country to L.A. D.C. an 8-point road favorite.
Will they go out and party in L.A.? That's the question. No, they're such a better team than L.A. It's got to be Washington and 12 gauge minus the 8. I'm taking Washington on the road, long road trip.
DC it is.
Yeah, you think I'm getting?
You convinced me, Greg.
I am not getting. I'm not picking against my team.
We've been killing it, man.
DC's going to win the title. They're the best team in the league. They're going to win the title. Cardell Jones doesn't lose, so why would you? 8's a lot going across country, but.
So you're saying buy your XFL championship game tickets today? If you're a Washington fan?
If you are a fan of the DC Defenders?
Yes.
Sure.
Pep Hamilton?
He's my guy. That's
the
why,
coach?
That's why I like DC. I like Pep. Anybody named Pep, I'm a fan of.
Big thanks to Matt Moore and Matt Dillon, the two Matts who joined us today on the program. Stay tuned. Coming up next at Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Big shout out to all you folks for listening to the program. Always appreciate your phone calls, your texts, just your patronage to this station, and specifically the Middays program. For Gabe Kuhn and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you again on Monday.
It's all going to pot, whether we like it or not. Best I can tell.